Legal contributor Rebecca Royfee.
The investigation was into whether or not she lied about this being her primary residence, and that would have constituted a kind of insurance bank fraud that could have formed the basis for this charge. It's the position of her lawyers, or at least that's been their public position, that she quickly corrected this statement. And if so, that somewhat at least undercuts the strength of the government's case if it turns out that that's true.
James is the second Trump political foe to be indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia in the past 2 weeks, former FBI Director James Comey being the other. James brought a civil case against Trump in a video statement just released.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost.
CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
When asked whether he thinks that it's going to be problematic for prosecutors as they try to proceed with these cases, he says he doesn't believe that that's going to be a problem, and he is simply exercising his First Amendment rights.
A lot of hopes are riding on the deal to end the war in Gaza. While the hostage release will come first and aid will flow into Gaza, Haley Ott reports there are a lot of unresolved issues.
There are still some more difficult elements of that proposal to be hammered out, like how Hamas will disarm, whether it will agree to step back from Palestinian politics, and who will govern Gaza. But all of that will come later.
With the government shutdown continuing, so have the sick outs by some air traffic controllers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy on Fox Business Network today.
We need the best and the brightest, the dedicated controllers. And if we have some on our staff that aren't dedicated like we need, we're going to let them go.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said today the anti-crime efforts in Chicago and Portland will continue.
We're purchasing more buildings in Chicago to operate out of. We're going to not back off. In fact, we're doubling down, and we're going to be in more parts of Chicago in response to the people there.
CBS's Nicole Skanga was following 2 court hearings on the National Guard deployments, the first on Portland.
The court appeared skeptical of the government's broad claims, but also really recognized that the courts give the president deference in assessing security threats. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Illinois officials saying state and local police are fully capable of handling any unrest.
On Wall Street today, stocks finished lower. The Dow Jones Industrial's off 243 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The most dangerous stretch of freeway in our state. That is one story coming up after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Global Credit Union's got the update. In Everett, we just cleared our collision. North 5, just past the Boeing Freeway, opening up 3 lanes for you. In the meantime, you're dealing with scattered backups starting way back in Linwood. Seattle to Everett plan on 55 minutes. The Boeing Freeway is still jam-packed eastbound starting at the Boeing factory. That southbound backup through Everett is cleared out, though, and it's moved into Linwood. Linwood to Seattle is now at a half hour. Got another backup that starts near Lake City Way down to I-90. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. It's solid from Northeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway. Seattle to Federal Way is at 35 minutes. In Puyallup, we're dealing with what is now turned into a long-term collision westbound 512. Just past Pioneer Way, it's in that left lane. You're backed up onto the Valley Freeway. That's a bumper-to-bumper backup starting way back in Algona. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The Seattle School District will not be bringing back police officers to Garfield High School, at least not yet. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey says the school board voted 5-2 against the pilot program.
The controversial topic, punctuated after the shooting death of Garfield student Amar Murphy Payne last year, left many parents fearing a school engagement officer roaming the halls would intimidate students.
And for someone to just come in like that's going to make it, I'm not going back to that school.
If it passed, the pilot program included one officer who would focus on crime prevention and building relationships. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle City Council is watching the federal government shutdown fight closely. Councilmember Bob Kettle tells Seattle's Morning News.
FEMA. People don't think about it, but we get a lot of grants from FEMA. And if this gets shut down, and with the actions of the federal government, we may lose all that funding.
Kettle says the city's business and occupation tax has some money set aside for a fund in case federal dollars do not come through. Western Washington has the most dangerous stretch of highway in our state. This is according to a new analysis by Seattle Injury Law. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
The most dangerous stretches are all along I-5, with the most dangerous 10-mile stretch between South 38th Street in Tacoma and State Route 18. WSP Trooper Cameron Watts tells us why.
There's a lot of semi-truck traffic. There is a copious amount of moving violations. It's a high-traffic area. There's usually construction in the area. There's a lot of distracted driving.
Traffic fatalities dropped all across Washington in 2024, and WSP is stepping up patrol. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Revive I-5 returns to the Ship Canal Bridge this weekend. 2 lanes of southbound 5 will be closed from late Friday night until early Monday morning. This is the first of 6 weekend projects through January. The work will not start until after the Huskies game on Friday nights. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing. And exteriors, we are staying mostly dry today and also mostly cloudy. Rain increases, though, for tomorrow. Right now, 61 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time.
Oh, gosh.
This is your brain. This is drugs.
I wish I had a brain. Smells like a Wilcox Flame Farm
This is
egg.
your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Thank you for that. You're welcome. Big shout out to
Purdue Pharma, the
No.
Sacklers.
Who's my buddy I was supposed to say hi to?
Oh, Damon.
Damon, yes. I'll explain in a second. I can dive in in the nurse. I don't wake me up. All right, a quick update for everybody. I got a bad hip. And about a year ago, they said, hey, you need a new hip. So I went to my doctor. He's like, have you tried stem cell? So I knew Dr. Wagner. Sounds like I'm doing a commercial for Dr. Wagner. Dave Ross was talking about him all the time. So I go there. He goes, yeah, I looked at the MRI. It's not good, but we can fix this with stem cell. So I talked to Bob over there.
Yes.
770. He's like, I had it done. Getting the needle out, man. It's pain. He told me it's the most painful thing. So I'm getting all worked up. I went over and I got, what'd you tell me to get?
Oxycodone.
Got that, and then a muscle relaxer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, when was this stuff wear off? Because the muscle relaxer good for about 8 hours. And I didn't want to call in sick.
No, you didn't.
I didn't want to. I'm not a quitter. I'm not a balding orphan who never got the biggest piece of candy, a redheaded stepchild. That's not who I am. So here I am. As I walk into Dr. Wagner's office over there at 1000 Dexter, there's a guy who's listening to the show, heard me say yesterday that I was going to go in there. He went in for 2 knees. And he's 45.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
So how you feeling?
High, like really high. Really high.
Responsibly high.
But it's so, but kind of fogs up your head a little bit. Like Joe's like, hey, got to write a monologue. He's like, behind it. I should probably call it in sick. But this would be a good experiment, right?
Yeah, we'll make the most of it.
Do I smell a burning egg? Is that supposed to be my brain? Okay.
It is right now. How does your hip feel?
It's numb from all the stuff they shot in there. But what they basically do, so you roll over under your back there, and then they give you a bunch of stuff to take the pain away, and then they give you some topical as well. And then they have to go in and extract the stem cells. So they extract all his blood, and then they put in this machine that spins it. And the new technologies that allow it to really get just almost all pure stem cells, a trillion of them or billion or 500 billion of them or something. So they get that, and then they go in, then you roll back over, or you're still on your back, and then they got to basically do some lipo. They need to get some fat because there's stem cells in fat. So he's like, wow, you know how much fat? And he's in there working on to get that out. I didn't feel any pain there. Overall, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it like a 6 because I experienced the real excruciating pain when they were lasering my retina. And I was also brought back to the moment when I watched Lace have both kids without medicine, with no drugs. No drugs. She pushed out Charlie, and the same thing with Rye, and even Dr. Bomke came into the office, and she said, sweetie, you don't have to do this. We can still give you an epidural. She said, nope, I'm not going to do it. My body was designed to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do it. So they put her on, is it Pitocin? Pitocin, which starts to strengthen the contractions to kind of move. But those things are unbelievably painful. But I remember standing over top of her the first time. I'm holding her hand, and I'm just looking at her, and she's pushing through this pain that no one would be able to possibly experience unless you were sitting there in the bed, giving birth, right? And I was looking in her eyes, and she just for a moment sort of disappeared. Not that her eyes or her pupils dilated in any way, but like I could see that she was beyond her physical self in that bed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That the pain had she had become the pain.
Like
not fighting the pain.
State, kind of.
Yeah, not fighting the pain, but actually becoming the pain itself. And then all of a sudden, boop, there's Charlie. We're like, wow, check that out. And 20 minutes later, she takes a shower and we're walking around. Wow. And somebody said, when is your baby due? And at that point, she was already, fit as a fiddle. Yeah. And some lady goes, are you the person who's supposed to be teaching the breastfeeding class? She's like, no, I just had a baby. Oh, my God. Yeah, so you can, as long as there aren't any sort of big problems, you can blow them out there. And that's what happened. So anyway.
So hearing Bob describe it.
Bob made it sound a lot. I know Bob's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Bob is one of the people don't know. No one knows, and no one has dared to ask Bob how old he is. He is like the Dorian Gray painting. There must be some portrait of him somewhere from KIRO Radio that is getting older every day, but Bob does not. So he had his hip done. So I was really thinking it's going to be horrible. Here's the crazy stuff that you can do yourself psychologically. The particular nurse, Molly, didn't do this, but this is a trick that people will do. Like, for instance, if they're going to give you something that's going to cause pain, they'll go, okay, here we go in 3, 2, and they go 3, 2, and they hit you the 2 before the 1. And then I remember reading a study a while ago. Is the pain of taking the Band-Aid off slow or fast? And then who experiences more pain? Obviously, the person who's having the Band-Aid removed. But then also they did a test on nurses and doctors that are actually inflicting pain. Is it better to do it quickly or more slowly? And then how does the physician respond to knowing that they're inflicting pain? It's a wild moment because they know what they're doing and they know this is going to cause this feeling. And they talked about it each time. So, okay, you're going to feel a little pinch, then you're going to feel this, then you're going to feel some tightness in your sciatica, the nerve that runs there from the hip all the way down, sort of parallel to the T-band. And I was like, oh, my God. I was just breathing through the whole thing. But I'd like to thank Big Pharma. This portion of the entire show brought to you by Big Pharma. I hope my buddy that I met was better, huh? Much better than what. Why Bob did that to me?
He terrified me talking about it.
I thought while he was telling me, I thought I was having it done.
Yeah,
it's what a good storyteller he's what. He's like, oh my, they gave me these things to hold on to, and I kept waiting for the worst, but there you go. So anyway, all that being said,
now you know.
Yes.
The rest of the story.
It's so weird. It's like, you can't drive home, but go ahead and do 3 hours of radio. Should be a rule against this. This is what we call news. Here's the great thing about this particular newscast. I'm going to be experiencing the stories the exact same time you are. That's news to me. Day in history, looking back, John Lennon is born. A little bit of history of John Lennon. We missed it, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. It was the day he was his deportation trial. And they were going to throw him out. He had to leave because marijuana. By the way, that's another thing. If you get on this stem cell stuff, there's no marijuana for 6 months. And no drinking, I think, for 6 weeks.
But you said if it's pure THC, you get a pass.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Che Rivera, my favorite murderer. Yes. If you got a T-shirt, get out there and celebrate. He was executed on this particular day. And to get that, I'll do it. The exit ramp.
Oh, yeah, this is...
you're going to co-host the show, Joe, because...
Polk County Sheriff in Florida,
yes.
He took to Facebook Live to talk about a criminal he arrested because he'd never seen anything like it.
Oh, is that the guy had a whole bunch of stuff in his rectum?
Close, but not exactly.
And then the punchline is rectum.
Nearly killed him.
Damn near killed him. Hostage negotiation, yeah, so this... Joe said before he came on the air that this news should have broken sooner, so the Nobel Peace Prize will be awarded on Friday. Does this put Donald Trump closer to the victory stand? Don't forget Barack Obama got one and hadn't done anything. It was actually sort of a little embarrassed by him receiving it. So we'll see if Trump is justly rewarded for the work done there in Gaza and Israel and Hamas. Plus, I watched or listened to the entire debate yesterday with Bruce Harrell and Katie Wilson. When I heard the big question, how are we going to revitalize downtown, Mr. Mayor? What's your plan? Because we have a 38% occupancy or vacancy rate. That's the highest. I think it's higher than San Francisco. Businesses are leaving. They're going across the water. What will you do? And I thought, wow, it's a unique idea. So everybody get out your guitar cases. Let's see how much other stuff. Oh, the conspiracy theories are flying fast and furious. If you're spending any time on Instagram, once you watch one, they're going to feed you more and more and more. I am shocked that no one has gone to the president at one of these press conferences where you get these sort of gonzo journalists that are talking to him at these White House press conferences and asked about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Have you seen anybody on that?
Ask him about it?
Why is there no autopsy? Where is he buried? Where's the death certificate? What's the deal with the shirt? Why did all those guys jump over and none of them had any blood on them? And what were they doing in taking from Charlie Kirk? Why was his body taken and placed into an SUV? And what was the deal with the plane? There's just so many loose ends, and now it has created an entire industry. I mean, the industry was already there, but their new product is Charlie Kirk, and what's the real story behind it?
Why did he tell close friends he thought he was going to die the day before he died?
Yeah, now you're getting into the Candace Owens stuff. And she has got the evidence of it. No one's asked the White House.
Probably not allowed to.
Brandy Cruz should have. She had an opportunity to speak to Donald Trump. Plus, we'll talk about the fact that she dropped some bait out there, but he didn't take it. I'm sure she's disappointed. And then Sarah Nelson's going to come by. Oh, boy, I'm going to be in fine shape for that. Okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, her opponent dropped out of the great debate that was supposed to take place coming up on...
the 11th.
The 11th, yeah.
Okay. Pardon me while I basically sort of read this to you, because I didn't get a chance to memorize all of it. Try to get it all memorized. I was thinking... As Joe will attest to, I do a lot of thinking, a lot of reading, constantly sending him texts and various ways to sort of circumnavigate or at least navigate across all the news that comes across our phones and our computers every single day. There are days where I have to be honest with Joe and tell him, I got to tell you something, I don't have the energy to dive back into the septic system of news and dig around for some little good piece of something. It takes a lot of fortitude to be in it, to read it, to have an opinion about it without that stink staying on you. I remember as my father was getting closer to his death, I used to call him and ask about particular political things that were happening, and he would say to me, who cares? And I'm like, well, Chuck Schumer said that, hey, Michael, who cares? I go, Dad, I got a 3-hour radio show. I can't bring the topic up and then yell, who cares? But at his point in his life, he used to sit and scream at the television all the time and yell about this and yell about that. But he came around and all of a sudden he's looking, I got, as he used to joke, I'm on the back 9. That's when he got older. And then he used to say, I can see the clubhouse from here. That means he was closer to death. And finally he's like, hey, I'm going to the clubhouse. And that was the end. And I guess as you get closer, you realize, who cares? Who cares? Who cares about all this sort of stuff? Think about the number of football games that take place on a Saturday in small Division D football, and you don't know anything about the team. You don't know about what the outcome of the team. You know absolutely nothing about it, but the game still takes place. It has an end with a winner and a loser, and what do you care? Because you know nothing about it. But when all of a sudden you're in the middle of all of it, as we are in the news business, and you're supposed to have an opinion about all of this sort of stuff, again, if your job is to dive into septic tanks and look for wedding rings that for somehow have gotten stuck in there, you come up with a lot of crap on you. And one thing I've been noticing is the stupidity of so many people in America. Let's just deal with America. So I wanted to find out, where did this come from? So I came across this guy by the name of Bonhoeffer. Now, Mr. Bonhoeffer was a very smart young man. He took to music immediately. He went to a wonderful school there in Germany. His father said that he was incredibly sensitive and drawn to religion and theology, and he was a great A student all the way through. Mr. Bonhoeffer noticed that things were starting to change in Germany, and it was 1943. He was involved in a plot to assassinate Hitler. And there was a knock at the door or the phone rang on April 5th, 1943. And Mr. Bonhoeffer's father answered, or he answered and said to his father, "I think it might be for you," and then realized he didn't recognize the voice. He hung up quickly, but that was it. The jig was up. The Gestapo knew where he was, this young man that had plotted against Hitler, and they were coming for him. Mr. Bonhoeffer got his papers in order in the small office of the apartment that he lived with his father in Germany, and then made a dinner for his father and put it aside and waited. And at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there was a knock at the door. The father answered, and two men were standing there to take Mr. Bonhoeffer away. They put him in a reeking prison, and the sounds of crying prisoners just on the other side of the giant concrete walls did not let him sleep. And he spent about 6 weeks in there till finally they gave him his arrest warrant as to why he was in there. He knew this would be the end of his life. And he spent the next 2 years in that prison. He wrote to his father often. He spent most of his time writing and thinking, how does some place like Germany, how does any place in the world end up with a leader like we have? And he basically explains it's stupidity. He said evil can be fought, it can be exposed and be overrun. But when it comes to stupidity, there is no way to stop it. He said it in itself is part of something that consumes the entire human being, and they're no longer available, have a rational thought available to them, and you cannot argue with them because they seem to be just yelling out catchphrases or slogans. There is no way around stupidity. He explains that people move to stupidity when they lose their touch with nature, that was his word for God, and some powerful force comes along and tells them, which basically robs them of rational thought. So you can think of big populist leaders, I know you have one in mind right now, and possibly you're also thinking of people on the left that are using stupid people. I'm not talking about intellectually inferior, I'm talking about the stupidity, this thing that can fog your brain. And then at that point, there's no way to defeat stupidity. All that he wrote in that prison, and he said there was really no way around it. You can look out for it, and you can try to stop it. But once stupidity sets in, only the worst can happen. And then they took him out and they hung him. There's a happy note for everybody.
Yeah, I got this glowing sense of optimism all of a sudden.
He said that stupidity is not merely an intellectual defeat, but a social one. It involves group thought, group think, and societal pressures. Yeah, I'll try to find. There is something in here where he does sort of have some
we gotta
antidote
circle
for
back
it. Yeah,
to
I got circling back. Oh my God, I am
the
so
far
high.
reaches. Look at you, you're doing great.
I thought I'd get dressed up, so at least I look good.
You look fantastic.
There's Nate over there checking traffic. Nate,
All right, Seattle Sports has the update. Let's start over in Kitsap County out in Gorst, where we've got a big collision westbound 16 right at the State Route 166 interchange. It's blocking two right lanes, and we were looking at big backups on both routes heading that direction. Puyallup, we're still on scene of this collision. Westbound 512 is just past Pioneer Way in your left lane, and we're looking at a bumper-to-bumper backup onto the Valley Freeway starting way back in Algona.
Swearing reduces.
It's 40 to 45 minutes to clear this backup. Everett to Seattle, 50 minutes. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. Everett to Marysville, 20 minutes. You've got a solid backup from the Boeing Freeway to 529 as we recover from our earlier crash that practically shut down the freeway in Everett for about 15 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, 35 minutes. And you're backed up from through Linwood and then again from the U District in the downtown. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. It's solid from 520 all the way to the VMAC. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Seattle's morning news.
Hi, I'm Amanda Factor. Hope you can join us tomorrow morning. It's do or die for the Mariners, Game 5 of the ALDS. Luke Ducey will be at T-Mobile Park to help you get ready for the game. Seahawks, Jaguars, hear from head coach Mike McDonald. Not a sports fan? Still plenty to do. Paul Holden has your weekend planner. Hope you can join us tomorrow for all the day's news, traffic, and weather, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. President Trump says he plans to fly to the Middle East this weekend ahead of the expected release of Israeli hostages in Gaza.
It's been really something incredible that nobody thought it was possible to get it done.
The president now says he plans to attend an official peace deal signing to end the 2-year war. More from CBS's Erica Brown.
In Gaza, Palestinians who were driven from their homes during the war are now hopeful they can return and rebuild. The plan calls for Israel to pull back troops from parts of Gaza and then for Hamas to release the hostages.
And new this hour, Israel's prime minister says his government has approved the deal for the release of hostages. U.S. military personnel are set to miss their first paychecks next Wednesday if the government shutdown continues. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi has more.
Washington Democratic Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland represents the state's 10th district, which includes Joint Base Lewis McChord. She is among lawmakers from both parties who support a standalone bill to pay the military despite the shutdown.
We know how important it is for our military families because, as you know, a lot of them struggle with food insecurity. The cost of living is high in Washington state, and they often get sticker shock.
President Trump appears to support the bill, too. But House Speaker Mike Johnson has indicated he's not willing to call lawmakers back into session just to vote on it. He says the Senate needs to get the government open. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
No criminal charges will be filed against the corrections officers suspected of leaking prison footage of Brian Koberger, the man serving life for killing 4 University of Idaho students. That video surfaced online back in August. Idaho State Police say the guard violated prison policy but broke no law. Investigators say that employee resigned before he could be fired. Washington State Ferries is celebrating a record summer. Officials say delays and cancellations dropped significantly thanks to a $28 million investment from Governor Bob Ferguson.
Last year, we had around 600 sailings that were canceled due to lack of crewing. This summer, we only saw 191 cancellations due to crewing.
That is Jenna Forty with State Ferry. She tells KIRO 7 the system added 4,000 sailings and saw 500,000 more riders. Takes us to 3:33. We have Nate Connors tonight at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, let's see. Let's update you at our collision out in Kitsap County heading into Gorse, westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. It's taking up 2 right lanes, and right now westbound 16 is backed up bumper to Sedgwick Road. That's a 3-mile backup. 166, you're in about a 1.5 mile backup. In Puyallup, we're still on scene of this collision. We're a good hour plus into it. It's westbound 512, just past Pioneer Way in your left lane. And you're backed up bumper to bumper onto the Valley Freeway starting way back in Algona. It's 40 to 45 minutes just to clear this backup. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are now both 1-hour drives. Everett to Marysville has gone up to 25 minutes. It's solid from the Boeing Freeway all the way to 529. Linwood to Seattle, a 35-minute drive. You're backed up in Linwood and then another backup from Lake City Way into downtown. Bellevue to Renton, plan on a half hour. Our lake bridges are wide open in both directions. The support brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. Cage-free eggs are good, free-range are better, and mobile pasture-raised eggs are the best. Choose the best for your family. Locally fresh Wilcox Family Farms eggs. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Cloudy and cool weather, just occasional rain today. Nothing significant this afternoon, with highs staying in the low 60s. Right now, 61 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance. They put the comfort in Alliance. It's homecomfortalliance.com. When it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Who wrote that? There's only one place I can think of. Anybody else got one? Just jump in. No bad ideas. Anybody?
Wilcox Family
For heating, cooling, and electric? Nope.
Buc-ee's.
No, Buc-ee's for cars.
The Mariners.
Mariners are good. They're going to win at home. Is that what we all want?
Yes.
But nope, I'm going to have to go just homecomfortalliance.com. There we go. Okay.
By the way, Bob in Olympia says, John, Rush Limbaugh did radio for years, totally ripped on enough oxy to kill a gym full of elephants. You should be just fine on just a little.
Yeah, so how was he able to do that? I think he had bad back, right? And then he just started popping the oxy. Tremendous amount. You build up a tolerance for it.
You do, yeah.
And I also have a terrible fear because I remember meeting this guy one time, who was homeless, and he'd got his wisdom teeth taken out. He got hooked on oxy. And I've read the studies that, 10 people can, take oxy, nothing, but then like 1 out of the 10, or the number was, it's like opens the door to all of a sudden you're addicted to it. Yes, true, false, no?
Pandora's, but no, it's true, but I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, those of you just joining in, I had, thank you, Dr. Wagner, I did stem cell surgery today. Procedure, it wasn't surgeries, procedure. And I said, can I go on the radio? And Molly, the nice nurse, is like, I don't know. I've never had anybody ever ask me that before.
It's a new one?
Yeah. Wait, go. So they have listed a whole bunch of stuff you can't do. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do radio. I'm not taking the day off. Besides, they don't have anybody to fill in, and they got to do best of. We're running out of best of.
We are, yes.
This won't be one of them, but here we are. Day in history. Here we go. There you go. 1946, the Hoover Dam begins transmitting electricity in Los Angeles.
Damn.
1940, John Lennon is born. Che Rivera is executed. 1967. I'm not going to get into him. Not a fan. Not a fan of the guy. Oskar Schindler, credited with saving 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust. He dies in 1974. All right, let's do Lennon. Let's see. I've read about him. I love John Lennon. We used to have a band. My brother, Danny Walsh, Brendan Walsh, Chet Walsh, and myself. We were the Five Golden Fingers. And I think there's only 4 of us at the time. Then we just made Chet be there just so we could have a 5th Golden Finger. We did all Beatle covers. We were horrible. And then we got booked for a party. And then Danny's like, we're terrible. We can't go to a party and play a party unless they have a turntable nearby, because we just play with the record. That would not feel like you're getting your money's worth. So John Lennon...
Wait, did you play the party?
No. Oh. We all decided we didn't. The band broke up before we ever made our big debut. And also, Chuck used to get mad because Moose would come along and piss on the bass drum, and then it every time he'd hit the bass drum, the smell of dog urine would permeate the room that we were all rehearsing in.
I thought Moose was a band member.
He would probably play any instrument better than the rest of us. All right, so John Lennon is born actually not far away from Strawberry Fields. He was sang in the choir as a Boy Scout. He hated the sound of his own voice. He also hated writing music. He said it was pure torture, and he was never satisfied with any of the Beatles' albums. In fact, he thought most of them were crap. He told Dick Cavett in 1974, I think it was, I'm so glad that the Beatles are no longer the Beatles. I can't imagine being 30 years old and still singing She Loves You. Yeah. And he wanted to move on with his life. He also felt that music really could bring world peace. Of course, the great sleep-in that happened for him in, was that in Switzerland? Sweden? Was that Sweden? Denmark? Amsterdam?
Montreal.
No. It was in Amsterdam. Nate?
All right.
Fine.
That's right, Canada. Suck on that.
I remember the day that he came on WPVI TV and actually did the weather with Larry Kane. So Larry Kane, and I might have been... I forget who the weather guy was, but all of a sudden John Lennon shows up.
And the weatherman was off that night. He had a handheld camera, and he took pictures every night, and amazing hours and hours from Friday through Sunday.
Is it I'm high, or does it seem to be skipping?
You're high. You must have done the editing on that.
On the air at this marathon. And then on Friday night, an amazing thing happened, as you're going to see right now in this video.
Doing radio.
He had a handheld camera, and he took pictures. John comes into the studio. And the weatherman was off that night, and John said, can I do the weather? And there you see it. We can listen for a few seconds of John Lennon doing the weather.
We are about here. I had a touch of Scranton when I was 16, but I cured it. This is meant to be green, and this is the northwest wind, but if you do that, falls off.
For Action News, I'm Larry King. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, he just jumped up and ended up just throwing stuff up on the board. John Lennon was shot and killed by, anybody know? Remember who remembers?
Ooh.
3 names. Come on.
John something or another.
Nope.
No.
Middle name David.
Mark David Chapman.
Mark David Chapman, prior to the day, what did he do before he saw John and Yoko?
Don't know.
Got his autograph.
Yes, exactly. He got John and Yoko's autograph prior to. And then in the evening, he walked up to John Lennon while he was getting out of the limousine, fired 5 shots. 4 of them hit John Lennon. And then what did Mark David Chapman, Nate, you control the board, what did he do after he shot Lennon?
He then turned himself in.
He waited for the police. Judges will not accept turn himself in. I'm sorry. He read a book. He stood off to the side and read a book. What book did he read? Anyone?
Catcher in a Rye.
Yes!
Wow.
Good for you.
Was he... I don't know the story well, but was he a big fan?
Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why he shot him, I still don't remember that part of it. But yeah, he was a huge fan of John Lennon. Yeah, right there in front of the Dakota restaurant, Dakota apartment building. All right, one last thing here as we wrap up Today in History as you look at John Lennon. Whatever. He would hit this one particular note and twist and shout, and it ruined his voice. He hated his voice to begin with. And then he said every time he had to sing this part of it, for like weeks, it just ruined his voice. He would swallow and it felt like sandpaper. And he knew that if he kept doing it, his voice would get worse and worse and worse.
Sounds famous.
Last piece, John Lennon's death being announced on Monday Night Football.
Smith is on the line, and I don't care what's on the line, Howard. You have got to say what we know in the booth.
Yes, we have to say it. Remember, this is just a football game, no matter who wins or loses. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival. To go back to the game after that news flash, which in duty bound we had to tell. Frank?
Indeed it is.
There you go. Howard Cosell on that very day. All right, there's
real quick. You and Nate were both right. The bed-in lasted for a week, over the course of a week in Amsterdam and Montreal.
Oh, Nate, we split that one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then remember, did you guys dive into that? John Lennon hosted or sat in as a guest of Monday Night Football once?
We couldn't find that.
You couldn't? Did you look?
I didn't look.
AAA has the update. Kitsap County and Gorse westbound 16. We are seeing big backups with the State Route 166 interchange. We've got this crash blocking 2 right lanes. We're a good half hour plus into this, and we're seeing 3-mile backups heading into that direction. Puyallup, same story. About 2 hours into this crash now. Westbound 512 just past Pioneer Way. It's in the left lane. I haven't had any update from State Patrol of the severity of this, but it seems to be pretty serious because we're backed up onto the Valley Freeway all the way back in Algona. It's about 40 minutes just to make it through this backup. Everett to Marysville, 25 minutes. Linwood to Seattle's at 35. Bellevue to Renton's a half hour. And Tacoma to Olympia, you're actually looking pretty good right now at 40 minutes. AAA Washington's all-new everyday membership gives you discounts and perks at more than 900 local businesses, all for just $25 a year. Join today. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Let's see, back in 2009, I went to Longevity Medical Clinic because I wasn't feeling so good, even though I just finished running an Ironman. Humble brag. And a good doctor, Dr. Mixon, who's been a pioneer in the industry of science and technology extending people's lives, said, I got a pretty good guess what your testosterone is and what your estrogen level is. Let's take a look at these numbers, come back in a week later. And sure enough, he knew exactly what they were, even before the blood draw, because the guy's been in it long enough to know long-distance athletes tend to have inverse of estrogen and testosterone. My numbers were terrible. And then the most, sort of shocking moment was when he said, you got some serious heart disease developing. And I was like, wait a minute, I just finished an Ironman. He goes, no, I'm looking for indicators, and I can see this and this inflammation. This is a problem. Did your father have a heart attack? Yes. Had quadruple bypass? Yeah. And then at that point, I go, I'm signing up because I want to live a good, long, healthy life. I want to use the latest science. I want to be working with Longevity Medical Clinic because they're trying to stop the big bad like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer from taking us out early. It is absolutely the best. The best. They've been there for 25 years. You want extended life? Start by taking the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
55-yard interception return by Easley.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 45, Kenny Easley. As pure an athlete as has ever played, saw him the very first day at training camp after his first-round draft choice. All of us veterans looked at each other and said, we've got something here, and we sure did.
The Seahawks are in Jacksonville, facing the up-and-coming Jaguars on Sunday. Kickoff at 10 a.m., pregame at 7.
Right here on KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster at a higher price and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwes.com, sellwithwes.com, a better way to sell your home.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
During the month of October, for every new Kia we sell, Kia of Everett will donate to local breast cancer research and support programs. Let's do this. Kia of Everett, simple, easy, fun.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Yeah. Here we go with the John Curley Show. Texting is a good idea. Teeny's going to look at all those and choose the letter of the day. 1-888-973-5476. Hello. Right, Teeny. We're going to follow up on Jason Rance's story. Apparently, King County's confirming a whistleblower has said that they got a little problem with their Department of Adult and Juvenile Detention, that the corrections officers, they're trying to get a whole bunch of them, and I guess they didn't bother to look. Are you in the country illegally? Are you a resident? Are you a citizen? Who are you? And what's the total amount? What do they think about? 40 of these guys?
40 is what he said earlier, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not going to help their staffing issues.
No. What would you have to pay you to be a corrections officer?
Honestly, I don't know. I kind of feel like I would do okay at that job. I wouldn't want. I think
you just took away my high. Are you kidding me? Do you think you'd be a good corrections officer?
I think so. I learned that in jail.
Okay, well, they do all this stuff. Would you be able to body cavity search somebody like this guy?
No, there's things you can't make up. So we arrested Walter Frymere. He's 51.
Okay.
We got a call that he was naked inside of.
What was he?
Naked.
Oh.
A restroom at a public park. So we ask, is he naked or buck naked? You can be naked and still have your socks on. But if you're buck naked, you're totally naked.
Do you get the feeling that some of these sheriffs down south are just trying to be extra clever?
Yeah.
You did graveyard dead.
He loves his job.
This guy's like, I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of these on him. Hang on.
Anyway, our deputy gets there. The deputy arrests him. We've got him in possession of meth. You ain't going to believe this. So we put everybody through a body scanner. He brought a thermos into the jail. That's right. He put it up the exit ramp. You know what I mean? A thermos about this size. We saw that.
By the way, when he does this size, it's like a regular thermos.
Oh, yeah, like 30 ounce
it's big. Yeah, very big.
And we said, dude, what are you doing here? He said, well.
You know what's the problem with interviewing people like this? Maybe just me because I'm in an altered state. It's taking him forever to tell the story.
Oh, this is the edited version, too.
Yeah, and he's not going up and down. You're not getting crazy stuff and then flattening it out and then adding extra jokes and stuff. It's just, he thinks every single one of these things is just a cliffhanger of comedy.
He could learn from you, for sure.
Come on. Some funny music underneath would help.
We saw that.
Andrew's going to put funny music underneath. See if that'll just help the story. We have one more minute and this thing is dying. Let me know you're ready.
How about that Price is Right theme? That's always a good.
Well, hold on there.
Oh, sorry.
So,
there we go.
But if you're buck naked, you're totally naked. Well, anyway, our deputy gets there. The deputy arrests him. We've got him in possession of meth. You ain't going to believe this. So we put everybody through a body scanner. He brought a thermos into the jail. That's right. He put it up the exit ramp.
That was our theme. Blake Hurley was one of the great editors there. I said, it's supposed to be funny. He goes, oh, is it supposed to be funny? Then I'll always add funny music. Works for everything. Keep that funny music nearby for other sad stories. Here comes Nate checking traffic, Nathan.
The Emerald Queen Casino. See? We're stacking up our list of collisions this afternoon. Let's start you out in Kitsap County, out in Gorse, westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. This crash is blocking 2 right lanes, and it's got some big backups. In fact, westbound 16, you're in a 3 to 4 mile bumper-to-bumper backup, 166 and a 2-mile backup. We've got a long-term collision in Puyallup, westbound 512 past Pioneer Way, and you're backed up onto the Valley Freeway all the way into Algona. That's a bumper-to-bumper backup, and it's 40 minutes to clear this backup. In JBLM, South 5, just past the main gate, a new crash blocks 2 left lanes. You're backed up to Berkeley. Tacoma to Olympia has gone up to 45 minutes. In Linwood, South 5 at the 405 interchange, a collision blocks your left lane. And here in Seattle, North 5 at I-90, a crash is in the right lane. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Seattle's Morning News.
Hi, I'm Amanda Factor. Hope you can join us tomorrow morning. It's do or die for the Mariners, Game 5 of the ALDS. Luke Ducey will be at T-Mobile Park to help you get ready for the game. Seahawks, Jaguars, hear from head coach Mike McDonald. Not a sports fan? Still plenty to do. Paul Holden has your weekend planner. Hope you can join us tomorrow for all the day's news, traffic, and weather, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision surgeons have performed nearly 100,000 procedures. We know when RLE is right for you.
Find out. Schedule a free Zoom consultation at k2visionrle.com.
K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers.
The insurance world, it can be confusing. So have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night. And that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Announcing the Royal Corgis.
What have you done?
I wired pounds to London to buy Royal Corgis.
You went to the bank to wire money for Royal Corgis?
That means yes.
You are so dumb. Banks are slow and they hide all kinds of fees in transfers.
Those mutts.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. It's faster and never hides fees. Oh, they're fighting, just like the real royal family.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Amazon, or at newnordicusa.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
Israel-Hamas war.
We ended the war in Gaza.
New York Attorney General indicted.
She has been a long-time political rival of the president.
2 cities challenging National Guard deployment.
The court appeared skeptical of the government's broad claim.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. After Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire plan in Gaza, Israel's Prime Minister's office says the cabinet has approved the framework for the release of all hostages. On word of the ceasefire, this displaced Gaza resident says through an interpreter,
"We are very happy that the war has stopped. This is something joyful for us, and we thank everyone who contributed to stop the war and bloodshed."
CBS's Linda Kenyon.
The president has big plans over the next few days.
The hostages will be coming back Monday or Tuesday. I'll probably be there. I hope to be there. And we're planning on leaving sometime Sunday. And I look forward to it.
Speaking in the Oval Office, Trump said the whole world looks forward to it, too.
Everybody's celebrating. Everybody loves the deal.
Many questions still remain, including the makeup of an international stabilization force and funding sources to rebuild Gaza.
A grand jury indicts New York Attorney General Letitia James on 2 counts of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. CBS's Scott McFarland.
The case was approved by a grand jury in Alexandria, Virginia today. The case then heads to Norfolk, Virginia, which is the area of Virginia where the alleged crime took place. Tish James's case, though, comes not in a vacuum, but it comes just days after President Trump posted on social media to his attorney general that he thought Tish James should be charged with a crime, saying that justice needs to be served. She has been a longtime political rival of the president's. She brought a successful civil suit against then former President Trump in New York.
James says in an online video,
"This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system."
Her indictment comes 2 weeks after a criminal case charging former FBI Director James Comey with lying to Congress. A federal judge temporarily blocks the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to Chicago for what President Trump has said is a crime crackdown. Some Texas Guard members were sent to an ICE facility in suburban Chicago earlier. A similar lawsuit is also playing out in Portland, Oregon. CBS's Nicole Skanga.
Deputy Assistant Attorney General there, Eric MacArthur, said officers were stretched thin and the president was entitled to bring the National Guard in to prevent further risk. Oregon's attorney Stacey Chafin really pushed back on that, saying civilian law enforcement was capable and in control.
Stocks fall on Wall Street. Now this.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
Coming up, a DUI suspect crashes into a deputy's patrol car. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, this report brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. We are monitoring a number of collisions this afternoon, some long-term with major backups like the one out in Gorse in Kitsap County. Westbound 16 right at the State Route 166 interchange. It's still blocking 2 right lanes. Westbound 16, you're backed up approaching Sedgwick Road. That's a 3 to 4 mile backup. 166 is now backing up into downtown Port Orchard. In Puyallup, westbound 512 just past Pioneer Way, a collision blocks your left lane. You're in a bumper-to-bumper backup on State Route 167 all the way into Algona. It's 40 to 45 minutes to clear this backup. JBLM, South 5 just past the main gate. A crash takes up 2 left lanes. You're backed up now to Thorn Lane. Tacoma to Olympia has spiked a 55-minute commute. In Linwood, Linwood, South 5, right at the 405 interchange. Your left lane is blocked from a collision. And in Seattle, we just cleared a collision, North 5 at I-90. But it left you with a backup starting at the north end of Boeing Field. That's a bumper-to-bumper backup. South Center to Seattle right now has about a 15-minute delay. Fresh food comes from local farms. Check the package for healthier eggs with 3 times the omega-3s. Choose Wilcox Omega-3 eggs, locally fresh since 1909. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. A suspected drunk driver in Pierce County was arrested after slamming into a sheriff's deputy's patrol car head-on. The deputy's body camera was recording last night when the driver admitted to drinking.
Okay, how long ago did you last have something to drink?
I'd say about maybe 3 hours ago.
3 hours ago?
Yes.
How much did you have?
Just a drink.
Just a drink?
Just a beer.
Just a beer? Okay.
Now, this crash happened in Tacoma on River Road East near Pioneer Way. Nobody was hurt, but the trooper's airbag was deployed. His patrol car towed away. The sheriff's office says open containers of alcohol were found inside the 41-year-old's pickup truck. Seattle police are looking for a person suspected of shooting a 40-year-old man in the face last night in the Beacon Hill neighborhood. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
SPD was called to South Winthrop Street and Cheesty Boulevard South just after 11. Officers found a man with significant injuries to his head and face from a suspected gunshot wound. However, investigators have not yet been able to talk with the victim, and they are not certain he was actually shot. SPD Detective Eric Munoz.
We do need those medical professionals to look at those injuries and determine exactly what happened.
Anyone with information should call SPD 911 or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle police officers will not be posted back at Garfield High School in Seattle.
This motion has failed with a vote of 2 yeses and 5 noes.
The school board proposed a school engagement officer after a student was shot to death in Garfield High's parking lot last year. And get ready for more gridlock on I-5 this weekend. Construction will close 2 lanes of southbound 5 across the Ship Canal Bridge. WashDOT's Tom Pierce says the work will start after the Husky game traffic clears out Friday night.
We're also going to have the express lanes open southbound 24 hours a day during this work. That's going to provide a good alternative for people who are headed south of downtown.
Freeway will reopen early Monday morning. Weather update now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly cloudy for tonight. Cooler weather also into the weekend, along with increasing rain for tomorrow. Right now, 61 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I love butt drugs. I rely on butt drugs. I rely on butt drugs.
Thank you, Sherry. Of course, the show brought to you by Butt Drugs. Sure, appreciate that. Here we go with the John Curley Show. I'm partly here.
Andrew in the 509 says, John sounds like he's coming down. He's getting cranky.
Am I getting cranky?
I don't know.
That's crankiness. Boy, that other one just kicked in. Whoa.
Oh, good. We're good for another couple hours.
I had, thank you, Dr. Wagner. I went over there and had stem cell procedure done today. I took some stuff out of my hip. I got a great compliment while he was there trying to basically, you have to get fat. The stem cell stuff is so advanced now. They're able to spin it better. They get almost 500 billion of stem cells, and then they got to get a little fat. They put some fat in there because apparently a lot of stem cells in your fat. He's like, you know how much fat to work with? He's like, sucking some of that out there. At that time, I'm like, oh, it's great having low BMI, but... Yeah. I took a picture of it. You want to see it?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I'll send that over to you. Let me dive into the news. Oh, we're not supposed to shower for 24 hours. No alcohol for 6 weeks. No marijuana for 6 weeks.
That one's going to be tough.
Yeah. I'll send you the picture. All right, this is gigantic news. Donald Trump, by the way, do we know who's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize? Who else is in the running for this?
I don't know who else is in the running, but I was reading that the deadline is like the end of January to submit. So I don't know if this.
No, we'll get him. Boy, how upset would people be if he won the Nobel Peace Prize? Trump announces that this is the Oval Office. Was this yesterday or today? I think because the news broke that, yes, Israeli government will vote on the proposed end of the war between Hamas and Israel.
The AI we're adding, it's supposed to streamline our workflows.
That's the idea.
What is this?
But adding the AI that makes everyone else's.
Hey, by the way, would you take any of my drugs? How come every single cut that you've done has been some weird thing? Let's just see what else Joe stuck in the show.
Job easier to manage gives us more to manage.
That's the reality.
Oh, Joe was nice enough to tape the commercial just before the video starts.
Well,
IM helps you use AI to change small to business.
Peace in the Middle East.
All right, here we go.
We secured the release of all of the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday. Getting them is a complicated process. I'd rather not tell you what they have to do to get them. There are places you don't want to be, but we are getting the hostages back on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and that'll be a day of joy. I'm going to try and make a trip over. We're going to try and get over there, and we're working on the timing, the exact timing. We're going to go to Egypt, where we'll have a signing, an additional signing. We've already had a signing representing me, but we're going to have an official signing.
Okay, so here's what's on the plan. This is it. So Donald Trump has got a 20-point plan, and this is what they believe they are to agree to. One, disarmament of Hamas. Hamas is sort of pushing back a little bit on that one. They're going to be setting up an interim government. The U.S. will be sending, and they've already sent 200 troops over there that will be supporting Israel for this. They're also they will be there primarily to monitor the ceasefire, because there's been many ceasefires throughout the years with Hamas, and they break them continuously. So will the ceasefire hold? That's what it's all sort of predicated on at this point. They're also going to be there to make sure that humanitarian aid gets to Gaza and gets to the people and is not stolen, as humanitarian aid for the last 2 years has been stolen. Also, the release of the hostages. They think there is about 20 Israelis still there. They've asked for living and dead to be returned back to Israel. Hamas in return wants about 1,700 of some of their best terrorists that have been held there in Israel. One of them in particular they want. This guy is world famous for being a bloodthirsty terrorist. He basically led Hamas in many of its attacks against Israel, and they want that guy out. That's one part that Israel has to swallow pretty hard on, to release all of them, but that's part of the plan as they negotiate. The other thing they need to sort of fight over is territory. So Hamas says, we want you out entirely. They want like about 70% pulled back all the way. Get Israel out of Gaza. Get it out there as much as possible. Israel would like to keep a little bit more of the territory in place. So they're right now, that is one of the sticking points. One is to completely disarm Hamas, and the other is how much territory. So we get those two things worked out. They're also going to start a thing. Trump is going to put in place a board of peace. Tony Blair from the UK, former prime minister, will be involved in that. So this is very big news, big celebrations, both in Gaza and Israel last night and continuing throughout the day. The president talked a little bit about the death toll.
They consider them hostages. They talk about them as hostages, but there are approximately 28 dead people, mostly young, mostly men. You remember October 7th was terrible, but also from the Hamas standpoint, they probably lost 70,000 people. That's big retribution. But at some point, that whole thing has to stop, and we're going to see to it. Gaza is going to be slowly redone. You have tremendous wealth in that part of the world by certain countries, and just a small part of that, what they make will do wonders for Gaza.
Okay. Congresswoman Jayapal, not exactly one of Trump's biggest fans, had this to say.
If we can actually make that happen, I would praise that deal, and I would praise the president for his role in it.
There we go. That's good. There we go. That's good. Right. On Morning Joe, the president's diplomatic prowess as a result of
the deal that President Trump is announcing, played a key part in negotiating, is a significant change. This war was blocked for 2 years. President Biden, who preceded him, was unable to find a way to stop it. President Trump found that way by being tough on both sides. And he'll take a victory lap for sure over the next few days, but it's deserved. There's no way that I can see that this would have been done without Trump's pressure in the final hours.
That guy's David, is it?
Ignatius?
Ignatius. I think he used to work for the Washington Post. He's now on there, Morning Joe. Good for him. Listen, give the guy credit where credit is due on this one.
Absolutely.
So, and there's really, the celebration should come. Hopefully, the thing is that if they can, you don't want the poison pill thing, which is Hamas says, no, we're not going to completely disarm. So forget it. The deal's off. We're not doing anything. They could put little sticks in there to sort of stop this thing, to stop the entire process from moving forward. And then you fight over, what do you mean by disarmament? You got to leave us some weapons or something else. Since we have neutered a lot of the money that was coming in from Iran, that's good. So hopefully this comes to a conclusion. You know, we should get on is our buddy, our loud Jewish friend. Have him come on.
Oh, Eitan?
Eitan. He'd come on and scream about it.
Yeah,
It's very great celebrations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, for those people that were responsible for over the University of Washington from the river to the sea, people that were tearing down posters of hostages that were being kept, and not exactly celebrating, not as bad as they were celebrating with Charlie Kirk, but they didn't want to see. They still see in this sort of binary world of good guys, bad guys. They saw Israel as the bad guy, Hamas as the victims of these things. They have kind of a distorted view of history and facts. But be that as it is, that's some good news. Some prayers for both sides, because for the civilians of Gaza that have been kept in poverty and ignorance and taught to hate from the time they could talk. Young Gazans, young Palestinians were always indoctrinated into the world that Jews need to be eradicated. So maybe the beginning of peace is the beginning of educating the young and getting that unbelievably toxic government, if you can even call it a government, out of there, and maybe the beginning of some type of semblance of a government that does not deal and trade only in blood. I listened to this yesterday, so you didn't have to listen to the whole thing. It was about an hour long. So Bruce Harrell's there, and Katie Wilson, my candidate.
That's right.
Going all in on spending more money and taxing more people. This is one question that was asked to the mayor about, the vacancy rate is very high in the city of Seattle. The businesses are not coming back. Many of them have transferred many of their employees over across the water to Bellevue. So how is Seattle going to revitalize itself? Why would somebody come downtown? How can we get the businesses back? How do we get the sales tax back up again? I thought this was fairly interesting take.
So what we're doing is we're reinventing downtown. We have to have experiential activity.
Okay, so you've got 36% vacancy rate in these great big buildings. People are not coming downtown. Businesses are closing up. They're leaving. Either they're being scared away by taxes or crime. And how do you revitalize downtown?
Music, dog parks, daycare, experiential activity. Music, dog parks, daycare. Buskers, art, culture, and we have to make it an experiential activity because the new downtown, because of e-commerce, is going to be a new downtown, and that's what our plans have done. If you go down to Triple Door, it's a beautiful arts and restaurant. We're going to build housing on.
By the way, you ever walk down to the Triple Door? You ever walk past? You come along that sidewalk before you get to the Triple Door?
And that's where the new downtown will go. Could I do that in 3.5 years? Of course not.
Yeah, here's the weird thing. You're gonna revitalize downtown by having dog parks and buskers.
You can't tax buskers.
You know what a busker is, everybody? That's somebody that plays music on the street. That's a busker. So people are going to be coming to Seattle for dog parks, art, and buskers. Did I mention dog parks? This question kind of threw my candidate, Katie Wilson, knocked her back onto her heels. I'm assuming those heels are a practical shoe, the way she dresses. So here we go. You ready? Here we go. Watch this. By the way, whenever a candidate says that's a good question, what they're saying is, holy S. I didn't think that question was coming.
Ms. Wilson, let's say an earthquake strikes the region. You're the new mayor.
At this point, Katie Wilson's thinking, I hope the earthquake happens right now.
What 3 specific steps would you take upon
It's easy. Duck and cover. Yeah. Those are the 2. Okay, what 3 steps would you take?
feeling the shaking, the first shaking?
That's a great question.
Oh, boy.
I'd probably make some phone calls. So I know we have really strong emergency management protocols in Seattle and King County.
Okay, that's good. She's got that, right? Sure. Okay.
So I would probably call the person who is the head of those efforts. Probably be good to call the governor, and probably be good to call the police chief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, what do you get on an A to F?
A to F? That's a C plus.
Okay, I was going to C plus, C minus. Okay.
Mayor Earl, same question. First of all, is Seattle prepared for an earthquake? And what 3 steps would you take upon the first tremor?
Well, first thing, you shouldn't make calls because you realize the wireless services may be down as well during a major earthquake. You have to know the protocols in Office of Emergency Management. So the first thing, we practice this all the time, not just for an earthquake, but for a fire, for a king flood. And so there are protocols in place, and we actually practice this in terms of where even I'm supposed to be. Because I may be in my home, I may be in the office. And so there are strict protocols in place. We practice it all the time.
Really? You practice it all the time? Come on.
And our Mayor Curry, our Office of Emergency Management Director, is very good at doing this. So we have an emergency team. We have a command center. We bring in the fire chief, the police chief, SDOT director, because we have to make sure people can get from to and from. We have all of our first responders. And I will typically go to the Office of Emergency Management. I will be there physically as the commander and staff. And quite frankly, that's where experience matters. This is not a learning curve stuff we're dealing with, my friends. Yeah. Even with the National Guards coming here, experience matters. This is not a learning edge. You don't start making calls or guessing what you do. And again,
quickly, is Seattle prepared for an earthquake?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Well, here's my question. I would say, Mr. Mayor, you get in there in 2021. Do you think that the people were well served by the amount of money that you were spending? $6.5 billion was your budget in 2021. Were they well served? And of course, he's going to say yes, right? So what I did is I took the total population of Seattle in 2021. I took the total population of Seattle in 2025. And then what I did is I divided. So I took the $6.5 billion it takes to serve or to provide services for. So it works out to be $8,754 per person. That's what the city is spending to service. If you just break it down by budget, citizens. The population of Seattle from 2021 to 2025 increased about 74,000 people. That's about it. 74,000, we went up, right? So that means, and then I looked at the budget, and the budget is 8.3. So we went from 6.5 billion, 2025, 8.3 billion. Now the cost to service those people is 10,164. I included inflation in there. So it's been about a 12% increase in what we're spending to serve the people of Seattle. And then you just break those numbers down. But you'd say if you were serving them well at $8,000 with the number of people, and now you're spending $10,000, and again, working inflation in there, you're still spending more money, right, as the people come in, but your budget has gone up 30% from 6.5 to 8.3, a 30% increase in your budget. You just keep asking for more and more money. Where would you make cuts? I mean, both of them seem to have the problem that we just need government to get bigger and bigger and bigger to solve the problems we have. It just keep going. Like, at what point, how much more money do you need to solve any of these things? But the per citizen ratio is always an interesting number. I compared it to Denver and to other cities. You got to do a lot of work because you got to figure out, like, are they covering police? Are all those numbers in there? And what is the basic percentage? But the question, if we ever get Katie to come back on again, I would ask her about that. Like, how much more do you need And what cuts would you make? Why does it always have to get bigger? Why do you need more and more money? But the debate basically was a draw between the two of them. Do they have any more?
They've got one on the 11th, the great debate.
Greater than the others?
Well, it's because it's going to be not only the mayoral candidates, but the city council candidates, and everybody's going to be at sharing the stage.
All right. Fine. Just more of the same. The reason I liked Katie, because I want just press the gas down all the way, go all in on a socialist government, taking from the rich, giving to the poor to solve the problems.
I get that.
Yeah, that's it. Go Katie Wilson. All right, here it goes. Nate checking traffic course. Nathan.
Thanks, John. Washington 811 has our update. It's a tough Thursday commute, man. We've got a number of long-term collisions with lengthy backups, including out in Gorst. Westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. Just crash continues, blocking a couple lanes. Westbound 16, you're sitting in a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup approaching Sedgwick Road. 166 is now backed up in the downtown Port Orchard. Puyallup, good news, finally. We just cleared that long-term crash westbound 512 just past Pioneer Way, but it was there for a couple hours, so it left us with hefty backups. In fact, southbound 167 is bumper to bumper from Algona into Puyallup. It's 45 minutes just to make your way through this backup, and then every surface street imaginable is jammed up heading through Puyallup, including westbound 410. JBLM South 5 just past the main gate. A crash blocks the left lane, had a couple lanes blocked. You're backed up to Thorn Lane. Tacoma to Olympia, now a 1-hour commute. Up in Linwood, South 5, right at the 405 interchange. A collision blocks the left lane. You're backed up to 112th and South Everett. Everett to Seattle just hit 1 hour. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are also 1-hour commutes. Bellevue to Renton, give yourself 35 minutes. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous and costly damages to utility lines. Call 811 or submit online at digsafewa.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
When Home Comfort Lines came out to the barn there in Cle Elum and they put a heat pump in, I was like, wow, this would be great. They are able to heat and cool a big old barn and save us a whole bunch of money. And then I heard about this Quilt ductless heat pump system. I'm like, I'm going to call Ryan over there at Home Comfort Lines to find out how this works. So he tells me, you can customize the rooms. So if you're in one room, you're like at 70 degrees or something, that's the temperature in that room. The other rooms can be cooler or warmer, depending. If you don't go into those rooms later on in the evening, why are you bother heating or cooling those rooms? Oh, so I get to customize each room so you're saving money. This is the Quilt ductless heat pump system. This is brilliant. And Home Comfort Lines is the flagship partner, so they know exactly what they're doing with this thing. It's also nice to know there's some heat pump tax credits to go along with it to make the deal even sweeter for you. But it's just basically being able to customize each room's temperature, saving you money so you're not heating and cooling those rooms, and you're working with Home Comfort Alliance. This is a win all the way around. When it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical needs, there's only one place to call. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
55-yard interception return by Easley.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 45, Kenny Easley, as pure an athlete as has ever played, saw him the very first day at training camp after his first-round draft choice. All of us veterans looked at each other and said, we've got something here, and we sure did.
The Seahawks are in Jacksonville, facing the up-and-coming Jaguars on Sunday. Kickoff at 10 a.m., pregame at 7.
Right here on KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet.
That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with 0 investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Israel and Hamas have now agreed to a deal that could end more than 2 years of fighting in Gaza. CBS's Erica Brown reports.
In Egypt, Israel and Hamas signed a deal Thursday in what the White House calls phase 1 of a peace plan proposed by President Trump.
We ended the war in Gaza and really, on a much bigger basis, created peace. And I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace.
Now, the president says he plans to fly to the Middle East this weekend to attend an official peace deal signing. Day 9 of the federal government shutdown, still no movement. Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says Democrats are holding firm on their demands.
Trust is very low right now, and there's going to have to be an ironclad agreement on how any deal that gets negotiated gets stuck to.
Washington Republican Congressman Michael Baumgartner spoke with Jason Rantz on Seattle Red.
You know, it's unfortunate that the Democrats want to play this game for their political base just because they're so frustrated against President Trump.
If the government shutdown drags on much longer, U.S. military personnel would miss their first paychecks on Wednesday. Lawmakers from both parties have expressed support for a bill to pay troops despite the shutdown. Auburn's mayor says she is frustrated after learning through the media that the Spokane South Hill rapist is moving to her city. Nancy Backus tells KIRO 7 TV her community was blindsided.
That is not the way a local jurisdiction should find out that a level 3 sex offender has been released into their community.
Kevin Coe was linked to over 40 assaults in the late 70s and early 80s. He's now 78 and in poor health. The state says he's unlikely to reoffend. Sound Transit announces it's running special Sounder trains for tomorrow night's Mariner game at T-Mobile Park. Trains from Lakewood and Everett will arrive at the King Street station at least 90 minutes before first pitch at 5:08. It is a win or go home game for the Mariners and Tigers.
Yeah, that's big. That's huge. I mean, because it's all on the line, so that's kind of what you want.
Winner will face the Blue Jays in Toronto this Sunday in the American League Championship Series. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 4:33. Here's Nate Connors.
It's a tough one out there today, Aaron. This report brought to us by Subaru of Puyallup. Out in Kitsap County, Gorse, we have a long-term collision westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. It's blocking a couple lanes. That leaves one lane open. And westbound 16 has a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup is approaching Sedgwick Road. 166 is quickly backing up into downtown Port Orchard. And northbound 3 heading into Gorse has about a 2-mile backup. Southbound 167 is jam-packed from the Outlet Mall in Algona into Puyallup from an earlier crash that just recently cleared. 35 minutes to get through this backup. In JBLM, we just cleared a crash South 5 near the main gate, so this opens up all lanes. You're backed up to Gravely Lake Drive, though. Tacoma to Olympia will take you 55 minutes. Up in Linwood, South 5 at the 405 interchange, a crash blocks your left lane. You're backed up to 112th and South Everett. Everett to Seattle has climbed an hour and 10 minutes. Seattle to and Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both 1-hour commutes. Seattle to Federal Way will take you 40 minutes. Traffic is stressful. One thing that's always stress-free is pricing on over 300 new Subarus with easy financing at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your weather update is brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We're staying cloudy and cool for tomorrow. Increasing rain tomorrow afternoon. Roof will likely be closed at T-Mobile Park for tomorrow night's winner go-home game. Right now, 63 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
KIRO 7 News live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. And news that's local because where you live matters. No more, no now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
Well said. Well read. How'd that heat wave go over?
It's a quick one.
Okay. By the way, there's anybody that knows, on our app, if you listen to the show on the app, there's an ad on there that's running with summer quickly approaching. I'm like, does anybody monitor those ads?
Remember the back to school read was on in the middle of summer?
No, I'm talking about that's somebody else that's on there.
Move on.
I know. Did I mention Bucky's Auto Service Centers? They've got 16 locations, been around for 55 years. Take the car to Bucky's or fill it with rats, set it on fire, and push it over a cliff. Either one. To me, gathering up rats, messing around with gasoline. Diesel's better to use, by the way. Lower combustible. But just take the car to Bucky's. That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, those of you just tuning in, I sound like I'm high because I am. Okay? There you go. I got procedure.
And now you know.
I didn't want to miss the show.
Of the story.
So I got stem cell procedure. Thank you, Dr. Wagner. And they sucked some fat out of my hip, took some blood out of there, and spin it around, and they inject it right back into your hip again. And all little. Did everybody know how those stem cell things work?
I had no idea.
So it is absolutely, they got to dial it in. So they suck the blood out, they spin it around in this fancy machine, and then they get only the T cells. These are the ones that basically show up at a party. Imagine going to a costume party, and you show up at the party, and everybody's in a costume, and you don't have a costume on, but the T cells are able to go, oh, what's everybody dressed as? Oh, and then all of a sudden they become that. So if you got a bad hip, in my case, they go in there and all the other cells are like, hey, we could use your help. We got some cartilage problem around here. Why don't you grab some of that, whatever they need. Grab some, shovels and come over here and help us fill in this socket. And the T cells are like, sure. So they basically turn into whatever those other cells are. And then they create cartilage or whatever the problem is.
That's incredible.
It is really wild. I mean, it's just nuts. No, insurance doesn't cover it. So people are like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Spend the money. I'm tired of the pain. I'm like the old man in bed. I got to have all these pillows between my legs. And then I'm moving around all the time and all stiff and sore. can't even walk more than a mile.
And if this is successful, you completely avoid a hip
replace the hip.
replacement.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Money is money. You can do anything you want with it.
Yeah, like get a stem cell replacement there. So anyway, if you're watching, they gave you some painkillers and they gave some Oxy, and then I supposed to take that every 4 hours. So it's kicking in, and man, I am.
Somehow I'm making all the mistakes.
Yes, because you're trying to help me out.
Yeah.
I asked Joe for a conspiracy theory song, and he says I'm not happy with it, but
I heard the CIA killed JFK. They say the earth is flat and the frogs are gay. The moon landing, they faked it. We're all in the Matrix. It's all a conspiracy. I just can't take it.
yeah. There are so many conspiracy theories going around about the Charlie Kirk assassination, and no one has gotten any answers. But Candace Owens, if you've been following her, she really kind of made her bone. She used to be with, I think, the Daily Wire or Daily Caller, and then she said some pretty outrageous things about Israel, and then like, bye-bye. I think Ben Shapiro said, so long, we're throwing you out of here. So she's on her own, and somebody's feeding her a whole bunch of stuff. She apparently has a whole bunch of sources, and she's able to back it all up. And yesterday, she did the dead man switch announcement, which is if some reason I disappear or I'm found, I've killed myself, allegedly, right? Suicide. They say I die by suicide. I've got this switch that's going to basically just show everybody everything. All names will be released to everybody, and then you'll know where I'm getting all of this stuff from, because she thinks she's getting closer and closer to the unanswered questions about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there are so many. And if you don't, you go, well, I don't want to start talking about it, but you can't spend any time on Instagram without at some point somebody popping up and saying, why is this and why is that? So you start to look like, okay, who is this? Is it some guy that looks like he's in a tool shed and he's just coming up with these crazy ideas? So you start to think, okay, if it's somebody legitimate, like a legitimate guy that's questioning it, then we would say, well, then, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, where's he on all this stuff? He hasn't said anything. But remember Patrick O'Neill? He was the guy that became famous for writing a book about the fact that he was the one that killed Osama bin Laden. He took the shot. He told the story so many times. So now he is on, he was on somebody else's show, or does he have his own podcast or something?
He was on with Piers Morgan.
Yeah, so they just go on and they go through this whole litany of things that don't make any sense, like this one.
The questions immediately started to come to me.
So this is the sniper. This is the guy, the Navy SEAL that shot bin Laden. You're like, okay, this guy seems credible. Let's see what he has to say.
It was not an entry wound that we saw. We saw an exit wound. So where'd that bullet come from? You don't bleed like, and I've shot guys closer than the camera was. And an entry wound doesn't look like that an exit wound does. Why did his shirt move the way it did? When I've shot people, their shirts didn't move like that. And then the initial reaction was, well, he was obviously wearing body armor and it was deflection. One, no. He wasn't wearing body armor. And two, it doesn't deflect like that off of body armor. Why was his shirt moving from right to left? Why were people being interviewed saying, yeah, they came from my left to right, from his right to left, immediately shut down? And then did they tear the crime scene down immediately? Just right off the bat, from seeing it, knowing he was dead, saying a lot of this is bad. Not even getting into the soliloquy of text messages that 22-year-olds don't send their trans lover.
Yeah, there's just so many things that just don't make any sense. And you can spend hours of your life looking at it. I just don't know why. Maybe there is pressure on somebody, like how about an autopsy? How about a death certificate? How about showing us more of the forensics of all this stuff? Why, right after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, were people able to just go up onto the stage, remove the camera, take everything away? Why didn't the police tapes come out there and block off everything? Why did they then take the entire thing apart and then basically pave over the spot? There's just so many odd things. Now, it just might just be coincidence that all of these things are happening at that time. But people want answers because people don't believe the FBI. They don't believe authorities. They don't believe who's ever telling them sort of stuff, and which then opens up the world of speculation and conspiracy, where people are either making money off of it or just, sowing more seeds of doubt on any story that we get from anybody. And there are so many. In fact, if you've come across one recently that you think doesn't make any sense, we'd love to get somebody on that's like an authority. That's the weirdest thing. Find an authority on this that would be able to answer each one of these things. Have they asked, like, the Warren Commission, is anybody going to, get something together to...
I don't think so, because he wasn't, it wasn't technically a political assassination.
I know.
Candace Owens seems to be the main conspiracy driver.
She's one of them, but there's plenty of people out there that just, really, the guy took the gun apart, took it back, put it back together again with no screwdriver, did it in 6 seconds.
And she's mostly focused not on the
Well, she thinks Israel did it.
Yeah, and so she's got all these texts from him that Turning Point has now confirmed.
Andrew's saying no. Nate over there, checking traffic. Nathan.
This report brought to you by the Harnish Auto family. Out in Gorse, Kitsap County, westbound 16 at State Route 166, the interchange. We're on scene of a long-term collision that has 2 of your 3 lanes blocked. So westbound 16, you're in a 4 to 5 mile solid backup even before Sedgwick Road. 166 is backing up into downtown Port Orchard. Northbound 3 has about a 2 to 3 mile bumper-to-bumper backup. At JBLM, we cleared an earlier collision south 5 near the main gate about 20 minutes ago. You're left with a bumper-to-bumper backup starting at Gravely Lake, Tacoma to Olympia, 55 minutes. Up in Linwood, south 5, right at the 405 interchange. A collision's in the left lane at the ramp to 405. You're backed up to the Boeing Freeway now. Everett to Seattle, an hour and 10 minutes. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, a half hour on both I-90 and 520. And Everett to Marysville still hanging on at 20 minutes, though it is crowded from the Boeing Freeway all the way up to 529. We are Harnish Auto Family, and this month we've partnered with Mobile Mammo Northwest. For every test drive you take, we'll make a donation on your behalf. Harnish Auto Family, people matter. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Seattle's Morning News.
Hi, I'm Amanda Factor. Hope you can join us tomorrow morning. It's do or die for the Mariners, Game 5 of the ALDS. Luke Ducey will be at T-Mobile Park to help you get ready for the game. Seahawks, Jaguars, hear from head coach Mike McDonald. Not a sports fan? Still plenty to do. Paul Holden has your weekend planner. Hope you can join us tomorrow for all the day's news, traffic, and weather, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Whatever temperatures this winter brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training and skills, backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new heating system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. Visit BryantNorthwest.com for a dealer near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you. better life.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks Monday Night Football game on October 20th. Head to the KIRO Newsradio app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the KIRO Newsradio app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day, October 7th through October 13th. Details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win. From the station where the 12s hear the Hawks, KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Cancers impact so many, but there's hope because the UW Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing ways to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Learn more at uwcvi.org about patients who received treatment 20 years ago that are healthy today. You can help by donating to fight at your local Safeway.
Here we go with the John Curley Show. Don't forget, you are a big part of the show. You can text us, 1-888-973-5476. Teeny, right back there.
Potato.
Thank you. Teeny will get you the letter of the day. Plus, why not text a question? Sarah Nelson's going to come on. Sarah Nelson in for the fight of her life there. City Council President Sarah Nelson. I'm looking at the polls. How's she doing against her opponent? Not too bad. She's come up a little bit. Yes. But if you have any questions for Sarah Nelson, if you're planning on voting and you just want a little bit more, 1-888-973-5476. By the way, more on the Charlie Kirk stuff. There is a halftime show. Man, this Turning Point USA doing anything it can. So a lot of people don't like the fact that Bad Bunny's going to be performing at halftime. So rather than watching Bad Bunny, if you want, flip on over and watch.
Point USA, the conservative youth organization founded by Charlie Kirk, is putting on a rival Super Bowl halftime show on the same day as the official one. They're calling it the All-American Halftime Show, celebrating faith, family, and freedom. Their website asks guests to fill out a form to receive information and updates on their halftime show, and there is a questionnaire asking what music genres would you like to see featured. The very first option on that questionnaire is anything in English.
Oh my God. Let's see, I guess they get the Gatlin brothers. It's always so sad.
Oak Ridge Boys.
The Oak Ridge Boys, Lee Greenwood. Whenever you flip over, like, okay, who's going to be the conservative person that's going to be on that show? So we don't know who's going to be performing, but anything in English. It's just another, by the way, you sign up, they then get your email, right, and, then they're able to send you more stuff. But good. Listen, they're in the business. This is the business of eyeballs and trying to get eyeballs to flip away from the halftime show if they don't like Bad Bunny. Who was it a couple of years ago? Who was the halftime performer as a female? Was it Beyonce like 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Is that what it was?
I don't remember. I didn't
forget who it was. Rihanna? Was it Rihanna? No.
Was it Gaga?
No.
Gaga
Good guess.
All these names, I'm pretty sure.
Rihanna was just, last year, wasn't she?
No, this was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
there we
Nick
go.
was like, oh, I love that music. It makes me all like Randy.
Oh.
Needless to say, we didn't stick around for the third quarter. Touchdown.
Oh, jeez.
Unnecessary use of the hands. I got 1 million of them. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
I should tell Sarah that you're
I don't know.
Impaired.
I am slightly. Okay, here comes Nate checking traffic.
Global Credit Union's got the update. All right, out in Gorse, westbound 16 of the State Route 166 interchange. A crash blocks 2 of your 3 lanes, and we've got big backups miles long in all directions heading into Gorse right now. Linwood, South 5 at the 405 interchange. A crash blocks the left lane of the ramp to 405. You're backed up to the Boeing Freeway. Everett to Seattle, an hour and 10 minutes. Everett to Bellevue, 50 minutes. Going the other way, Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both an hour and 5 minutes. North 5 is packed from Lake City Way all the way to the Linwood interchange. 405, you're heavy from 520 into Alderwood. Bellevue to Renton is a half hour. You're packed at 520 to Coal Creek Parkway. And Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 50-minute drive. Pretty clear in the north end. It's once you get to State Route 18, it's bumper to bumper all the way into Puyallup. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Okay, spending any time online. Maybe you've been shopping around for it because you see these doctors that are popping up on your Instagram or Facebook talking all about, oh, we found the latest technology to extend your life. Talking about longevity. I got news for you. You know who's been talking about longevity for 25 years and more? Dr. Mixon of a Longevity Medical Clinic. And when he first started and he was looking at the latest science to be able to extend your life, people were like, oh, poo-poo on that. He's like, no, this is different than what the doctor's telling you. And I'm going to start, as Mixon said, I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to get patients. We'll do a blood draw. We'll look for early indicators of big bad things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And then we'll see the other things that creep in as you get older. And as Dr. Mixon says, nobody ages gracefully, but you can extend your life. You can have vitality. You can have energy. You don't have to just get old like everybody else. And again, Longevity Medical Clinic was the pioneer. They were the first in. You're dealing with years and years and years of experience and know-how and success as thousands and thousands of people, patients, good people just like you and me that have been going to Longevity Medical Clinic and joining a longer life. You want to learn more? Take that free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
That sensation we're all feeling right now?
It's the playoffs, man.
That's playoff fever.
They're good. They're going to win at home, and then we all won.
Yes. They're the talk of the town.
So excited I can hardly stand it.
KIRO Newsradio has all the Mariners buzz.
Some of us even ate dirt. Some of us try to sway the outcome.
And our partner Seattle Sports has the games.
A winning solution. Hearing Rick call
You're gonna want to hear
home
Rick.
run. You talk about a no-doubter.
Listen free on the Seattle Sports app.
If you use carpool or toll lanes along SR 167, some things will change after October 20th, and some things won't. If you ride without a Good to Go account, you'll receive a bill in the mail. That is a change. Having Good to Go means it'll cost less than pay by mail. Not a change. Carpoolers will need a Flex Pass set to HOV mode to ride free. That's a change. A Good to Go pass saves you $2 on every toll. No change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
You've been wiring pounds to a second wife in London.
It's not what it looks like.
And here she is now.
Sure it isn't.
Hello, darling.
Elizabeth?
Did you know our husband used a bank instead of Wise to send you money?
What an imbecile.
Well,
See, even your secret wife knows that banks are slow and hide fees in overseas transfers.
those cheaters.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. They're faster and they don't hide fees.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
We are Harnish Auto Family, and this month we've partnered with Mobile Memo Northwest. For every test drive you take, we'll make a donation on your behalf. Come on over this month and stand with us in the fight against breast cancer. Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Israel and Gaza. Joy after news that Hamas and Israel have agreed to phase one of a ceasefire. In East Jerusalem, CBS's Deborah Patta.
Well, the Israeli government has now approved that deal, which means a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will come into effect within the next 24 hours. Then the remaining 48 hostages, living and dead, can be exchanged for 250 Palestinian prisoners serving life sentences and 1,700 more who've been arrested since October 2023.
Israeli Prime Minister's office says the cabinet has agreed to a framework to release all hostages. A U.S. official tells CBS News the U.S. is sending 200 troops to Israel to help support and monitor the Gaza ceasefire deal. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
U.S. Central Command says a civil-military coordination center will be set up in Israel. It will be part of the operation that will help coordinate the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. It will also facilitate logistical and security measures needed to help end the war and rebuild the war-torn region.
A federal grand jury in Northern Virginia has indicted New York Attorney General Letitia James after a mortgage fraud investigation. She's charged with bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. James responds in an online video.
This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice.
Democratic U.S. Senator Adam Schiff.
Those of us on the president's enemies list, and it is a long and growing list, will not be intimidated. We will not be deterred. We will do our jobs. We will stand up to this president.
The indictment against James comes after federal charges filed against ex-FBI Director James Comey. A judge blocks National Guard deployment in Illinois for 2 weeks.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul said it was an important decision as to whether or not the president
could and should federalize and deploy the National Guard into our great city and our great state.
The judge ruled there is no credible evidence of an organized rebellion there, nor was there any evidence the federal government has been unable to enforce the law without bringing in troops. Raoul said this wasn't just important for Illinois,
but for the entire country.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says they're not leaving Chicago.
We're purchasing more buildings in Chicago to operate out of. We're going to not back off. In fact, we're doubling down, and we're going to be in more parts of Chicago in response to the people there.
Noem is looking to do the same in Portland, Oregon. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people
at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, a suspected drunk driver slams into a deputy's patrol car. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thank you, Aaron. Out in Kitsap County, Gorse, westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. We have a long-term crash blocking 2 of your 3 lanes. Westbound 16, you're backed up to Mullenix Road. That's a 5-mile parking lot you're sitting in. 166 is backed up into downtown Port Orchard. And northbound 3 heading into Gorse has about a 3-mile backup now. Up in Linwood, our other long-term crash is South 5 right at the 405 interchange. It's blocking the left lane of the ramp to 405. You're backed up to the Boeing Freeway. Everett to Seattle, an hour and 10-minute commute. Everett to Bellevue, 50 minutes. Going the other way, Seattle and Bellevue to Everett are both an hour and 5 minutes. I-5 is packed from Lake City Way to Linwood. 405 heavy from 520 into Alderwood. It's a half hour crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle on both bridge routes. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways, a 50-minute commute. Bumper to bumper from State Route 18 into Puyallup. Tacoma to Olympia, 1 hour, and we've got a new crash in Tacoma. It's North 5 at Portland Avenue, blocking your right lane. Traffic is stressful. One thing that's always stress-free, pricing on over 300 new Subarus with easy financing at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. A suspected drunk driver arrested after crashing head-on into a Pierce County Sheriff's Deputy's patrol car in Tacoma. This happened last night on River Road East near Pioneer Way. Body camera video shows the deputy asking the 41-year-old driver if he'd been drinking.
I can smell something, so I know there's something there. But, huh?
I did later on, earlier.
Okay.
The man claimed he only had a beer, but deputies found open containers in his pickup truck. No one was hurt, though the deputy's airbag deployed and his patrol car was towed away. Western Washington is home to the most dangerous stretch of highway in our state. This is according to a new analysis by Seattle Injury Law.
The most dangerous stretches are all along I-5, with the most dangerous 10-mile stretch between South 38th Street in Tacoma and State Route 18. WSP Trooper Cameron Watts tells us why.
There's a lot of semi-truck traffic. There is a copious amount of moving violations. It's a high traffic area. There's usually construction in the area. There's a lot of distracted driving.
Traffic fatalities dropped all across Washington in 2024, and WSP is stepping up patrols. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The Seattle School District votes down a proposal to bring police officers back to Garfield High School. The school board rejecting that pilot program in a 5-2 votes.
If passed, one school engagement officer inside the halls of Garfield High School would have focused on crime prevention and building relationships. The controversial topic was punctuated after the shooting death of Garfield student Amar Murphy Payne last year. Many parents considered an officer a deterrent. Others think he or she would do more to intimidate students. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Well, Seattle City Council watching the federal government shutdown fight closely. Council member Bob Kettle tells Seattle's Morning News.
FEMA. People don't think about it, but we get a lot of grants from FEMA. And if this gets shut down, and with the actions of the federal government, we may lose all that funding.
Kettle says the city's business and occupation tax has some money set aside for a fund in case federal dollars do not come through. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Cloudy and cool for tonight, and occasional rain showers into tomorrow and the weekends. Right now, looking at 60 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Meet one of our
Thank
listeners.
you.
There we go.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing.
Okay.
Well, I don't like Facebook.
All right.
And I don't like the internet because I can't find a job. The library blocked my password.
Okay.
Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Are all of our listeners weird? Andrew, you're intentionally getting weirdos.
They're more fun. They weirdos are the fun ones.
It is the hotline to say why you like the show. Apparently, she doesn't know why she's here.
Well, she doesn't like Facebook.
And the library blocked her something.
Her password.
Something. Diving into the news. Quick disclaimer. I had stem cell replacement today at 11:30. Joe came and picked me up. Thank you, Joe.
Welcome.
And they said, now you can't drive because of the drugs you've taken. And then I said, but can I do a radio show? And they're like, I didn't have an answer for that one.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it is. You're lucky. Hold on, Sarah Nelson. I haven't been introduced yet. Joe found a song for you. Hold on. Hey there, Joe. What do you got there, huh? Come on, Joe. You sneaking some of my drugs? Put that. Oh, there we go. There you go. Sarah. All right, Sarah Nelson. You're Seattle Council President, also running against Miss Foster. By the way, you guys were supposed to have the big debate on the 11th of October. I was going to gather all the kids around the old TV set and watch it. But what happened?
Well, it would have been gripping for all audiences.
Yes.
Well, this is the only real debate that's scheduled for my race because there's so much attention to the mayor's race. And she just dropped out last weekend. It's been on the schedule for months.
So what happens now? Does that mean you get a chance to go on there uncontested?
Yes, indeed. I get solo
No
time
way,
to
really?
answer questions. Yeah.
Well, that's good for you.
Tell my side of the story and get into depth on the things that are most important to the voters.
So let me ask you, honestly, are you a good debater?
I get too in the weeds. I would
Do you?
say that I need a lot of practice, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the ability to respond to something that someone else says. And usually at these forums, they just ask the same question to each candidate and move on. So you
Right.
never
And then
have
the
a chance.
advantage is to the person waiting. Ooh, I heard what they said, and they said it gets to me. I've got 4 other people, and either they've stolen part of your thunder or it gives you a chance to say something else. So yeah, it's not really that's not the best way to set those things up. So that's good. So it's an open mic for you to be able to talk about why people should vote for you. I asked Joe, you're doing better in the polls. You're coming up.
Oh, really? Well, they're hiding the polls from me, but I'll find that
Joe
out.
can find them for you if you'd like.
Excellent.
So this particular race that you're doing, the media is really not talking much about it because all the attention, of course, is on the mayor's race, right?
Yep.
But still, this is an important position that you hold, that you are fighting to be able to maintain it. And without the debate in there, what are the differences when you see your opponent say something? Let's start with what do you agree with? At what point do you guys both say, yeah, I like that attack on that problem? Is there anything that you see that you have similarities on?
Well, I want to step back 1 minute.
By the way, the face that you just gave me was like, what the hell are you asking me that for?
Well, I just want to make sure that people understand that council is really important. It's 9 of us, but we control the money and we pass the laws. And that is why it's so important to pay attention to council races. And that's why council can ruin a city faster than a mayor can.
Yeah.
So,
well, on the council, it is really a game of negotiation and sales. That if you realize I can help this other council member realize why they need to vote with me on this particular topic, right? And then you look at just generally how many people on there do I share more things in common with than what I don't. When the council apparently were supposed to switch or flip, move from hard left to not so hard left, do you have more people that you are able to come to terms with on more laws and legislation that benefits the people of Seattle?
yeah, in 2023, there was a cluster of pro-public safety, pro-small business council members that were elected, and were able to come together and make decisions that can have real important change for the city of Seattle.
Right, so you had more people that were with you.
I had allies. I wasn't so alone, let's just say, in a majority defund council.
I've watched you through the years, and I watch a lot of the times when you're speaking, and at times you seem to be alone. A lone
I
voice.
can take it.
Yeah.
I'm good for that. I'm 59 years old. I have nothing really to lose. I say it like I see it, and I try to press for change that my voters are telling me they want.
Okay, here's something that you would come up with. Previously, I think you were against the idea of having a capital gains tax. Now you seem to be in favor of it.
Well, let me qualify that.
Yes.
I said early on in the campaign that I wouldn't be closed to a municipal capital gains tax, but only if it was funding what I think is most important, that is a huge gap in our city, which is access to addiction treatment.
Yes.
And that's the sort of thing that would motivate me to maybe consider that. But it's flawed because there is no real the range of revenue that would pull in is so wide, from like 18 million to 30 million, and you cannot fund projects with that uncertainty.
Right, because
so
it swings
right.
crazily. So in 2022, when they announced there was $840 million, that's what the state of Washington took in, even though the IRS still sees capital gains as a tax, that the income taxes are illegal in Washington unless you have a Supreme Court that does a Humpty Dumpty reading. So they did $840 million. And Jeff Bezos moved, and then they went down to 418 million. Then it went up to 560. So you really can't put that number over in the left side of credits and debits when it comes to the ledger, when it comes to budgeting, because the number fluctuates so wildly all the time.
Right. And as a small business owner, I know that predictability is really important. And so without that kind of predictability on how much money we'll have, it's not a really great source for filling any of our gaps. And plus, our gap is bigger than that.
You know what your problem, Sarah Nelson, is? Is that here's the problem.
Among many?
Well, no, this is the main one. I always look at upstream problems. And I'm with you 100% on the idea of getting help for people that are addicted to drugs. Because here's the upstream problem. The person comes here to the city of Seattle and they have all of the benefits that we provide them as they live a really horrible life. They continue to live that horrible life, and they are in no way changed in their direction of the choices they're making, most likely from an irrational or inebriated state. And then you have crime, you have dereliction, you have garbage, you have people dying, you have all this stuff. So you go way upstream and you say, look, rather than spending all of this money on all these other programs, let's fund real, tested and true support, medical support for these individuals, so they are no longer doing drugs, no longer stealing, no longer a blight, no longer are they living with the torturous control of these drugs. And that's, people are like, yeah, but we want to talk about crime and cops and all this other stuff. But you're like, no. Let's address the addiction.
Right.
Right. And if we were to spend the money there, have you ever run the numbers and said, this is what it costs us to fix the broken windows, to fix for the police, for the garbage, for this? You get that entire number together and you say, if you took that and spent 40% of that up here, the person would no longer be addicted to drugs. We wouldn't have to try to house him. We wouldn't have to put him in prison. We wouldn't have to try to save the life on the road. You ever done an apples to apples of where the dollars go to solve the problem?
I haven't added everything up, but I'll tell you that it costs about $500,000 to build one unit of permanent supportive housing, and that's supposed to come with wraparound services, but not really.
Right.
All right. It costs $15,000, $20,000, $11,000 to go to 1 month of treatment, and then more to have additional care afterwards. That is that's an expense that I think that we should take on to prevent the public safety and the chronic homelessness that is driven by addiction, and that causes so much, the cycling through of homelessness and jail, perhaps, and overdoses. Yeah.
Right. So $15,000 for 1 month. So the thing is, let's take 1,000 people and they go through the program and they successfully beat this. And you spend $15,000, how many months it would take, how much money it would spend. But then the cop is not going to that person's store, and the guy standing there that is completely blown out of his mind on drugs, who's got a bunch of stuff he's stolen. You're again, the upstream solution, downstream peace and quiet. So to me, that's the message that I would push continuously, that we need to have treatment. But I think the other problem, Sarah, is that people are like, they don't want to think about that. They don't want to think about that individual getting better. They just want to see stuff cleaned up, and they want whatever else they want. So that's what makes it hard to break through on these things.
Well, I think that people want to see our laws enforced.
Yes.
And if the laws are being broken by people that are driven by an addiction, then get them treatment. That's what I think that really people want. And if we're not offering, you have to strike a balance between compassion, the treatment stuff, and consequences. And when it comes to repeat offenders, now we're in consequence territory. And I think that people need to realize that there are people in City Hall that really do agree that the repeat offenders that are causing a disproportionate amount of the crimes over and over again, and they've refused treatment or whatever, then they have to be dealt with in a different way.
Were you surprised at Mayor's answer, Bruce Harrell's answer, when he was asked about people that have committed 6, 7, 8 crimes continuously? And his answer was, I want to know, are they hungry? I want to know their story. Did you see that? Did you hear that thing?
I did hear that,
right.
Yeah.
What is that balance?
So let me make something very clear. I was the one that sponsored the ban the box legislation when everyone opposed it because the criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that. So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail. But I need to protect you, and that's the calibration that we have. I put police officers on the stand. I've cross-examined them. So whether they commit 7 or 8 crimes to me is not the issue. The issue is why are they committing these crimes?
You're a politician. I mean, you heard that answer.
Well, I think maybe you find out why they're committing that crime after maybe the first or the second. Crime. And then we have millions of dollars allocated to diversion programs, which are supposed to get low-level criminals out of the criminal justice system and maybe into treatment. We can talk about that later, how well that's working. But yeah, after a while, my voters, the constituents of Seattle, small business owners and residents need to have the confidence that there are people in City Hall that are also trying to protect them, trying to keep our streets safe. And so I think that's the balance we're talking about. And I can't get inside.
What do you think the average voter that is ready to vote, that is paying attention to this politics, what do you think they hear over and over again whenever politics and politicians are talking in Seattle? What do you think is the main sort of thing that sticks in their craw?
Well, I think they're thinking, come on, folks, we're spending more and more money and things are not getting better. And in some cases, they're getting worse. Like in certain neighborhoods, like Little Saigon, why can't we just park a whole bunch of law enforcement there and make sure that we are addressing the drug dealers that are preying on the individuals that are laying in the sidewalk? We should not just think it's normal to walk by people that are bent over from fentanyl. That is not normal, and it's not humane or moral to let that keep happening.
And that's your challenge, Sarah Nelson, is to get people to care about people at a personal level.
Right.
Right. We have a discard society where we throw out printers and cell phones and blenders and anything else. We also decide that, well, this person has dropped out of the race, so to speak, and we don't have time to look back and help that individual. But you, as somebody who has battled addiction and overcome it, you have a sympathy for these individuals. You see each one of them as sacred, and you're like, no, we don't. We as a society can't give up on them, and we can't continue to spend money on putting them possibly in some housing where it's be easier for them to overdose and die. I talked to a gentleman on Friday night whose job it was to go into those houses, those government homes, and he said he said he wouldn't come on the radio and talk about it because it's too upsetting. He quit the job after 6 years because he said often the only time we would find out that that person was there is because the neighbors would complain about the smell because he had died 2 weeks earlier.
Yes. I do have a friend whose cousin died in there. So it is. So we've been sold housing first that's supposed to come with wraparound services, not doing so well performing on that latter part. So what was your question again?
Just the idea is that's the tough road for you to hoe, is to make people care about the people that are on that street.
I always think to myself, if that were my sister, if that were my brother, just pretend, put yourself in the position, pretend that you actually love, know, and are related to that person that's on the street. How would you want the city to respond to them? And we should have that. We should take that perspective to everyone that we see that's suffering. And so you would want somebody to. I would want someone to come along and say, you're not in a position to make rational decisions for yourself because you're incapacitated by whatever drug you're on. Here, let us help. I'm not talking about forcing everyone into involuntary treatment, but there has to be really aggressive outreach and repeat connection with that person to show that there is another way.
Yes, but so the person's laying in the street and somebody from the government comes up, it's cop or care unit or whatever, and says, do you want help? The person says, no, you can't stay here on the sidewalk. Okay, too bad, screw you. And they walk away and just leave them on the sidewalk, and more people come and see the sidewalk. Here's what I think, because I listen, I read, I'm deep into all of this, probably more than a lot of people care. Here's what I hear all the time. We need more money. We need more money. We're going to find different ways to get more money. We need more of your money. Our budget has increased 30% from 2021 to 2025. We need more of your money.
Right.
And at that point, I'm like, you suck at what we gave you. You're asking for more of it so you can continue to spend the money in the same way. You don't have the data or metrics to show that you're succeeding in any way. You just want more and more and more of the money.
Right. That's what we hear all the time.
Right.
And I came into office thinking, if it's not working, do something different. We have to do something different. And so my little pilot project that got people into private treatment and then they just bill the city easy peasy, then that is another way of more quickly getting people into high quality residential treatment that they would otherwise have to wait for months if they only have Medicare.
Right. Again, so I'm going to ask you to stay with us, but it's the number. How much money do we spend when the person's laying on the street? How much money do we spend when they're up off the street in a bed getting medical care? I would assume it's probably, I'm going to guess, 40 to 50% more economically possible to spend the money on the upstream problem rather than continuing to have the cycle over and over and over and over again. Can you hang around? Yes. Can you hang around?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Stick with us because Andrew's going to get mad at me and go to a commercial without me. All right. Here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. The Emerald Queen Casino has our update out in Kitsap County, Gorse. We have a little improvement. Westbound 16 at our State Route 166 interchange. A crash blocks just one of your 3 lanes now. Had a couple lanes blocked for about 90 minutes. Westbound 16 is still sitting in a 5-mile bumper-to-bumper backup. 166 is backed up in the downtown Port Orchard. Northbound 3 has a 2 to 3 mile backup as you head into Gorst. In Linwood, we cleared our collision south 5 at the 405 interchange. The backup still starts at the Boeing Freeway, but it is thinning out. Everett to Seattle, an hour 5 minutes. Everett to Bellevue, 45 minutes. Going to Everett from Seattle and Bellevue are both 1 hour commutes. I-5 is heavy from Lake City Way to Linwood. 405 heavy from 520 to Alderwood. Seattle to Federal Way is at a half hour. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, 45 minutes. It's bumper to bumper from State Route 18 into Puyallup. And in Tacoma, North 5 at Portland Avenue. Still got a crash blocking that right lane. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
That sensation we're all feeling right now?
It's the playoffs, man.
That's playoff fever.
They're good. They're going to win at home, and then we all won.
Yes. They're the talk of the town.
So excited I can hardly stand it.
KIRO News Radio has all the Mariners buzz.
Some of us even ate dirt.
Some of us
try to sway the outcome.
And our partner Seattle Sports has the games.
A winning solution. Hearing Rick call
You're gonna want to hear
home
Rick.
run. You talk about a no-doubter.
Listen free on the Seattle Sports app.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
You can count on the Seattle Times for trusted local news and information. The Seattle Times is one of the few independent, locally owned news organizations in the country right here in the Pacific Northwest. Take a closer look with the Seattle Times. Dig into investigative journalism that holds those in power accountable. Discover a new perspective. Gain a deeper understanding. Learn something new about where we live. Subscribe today and don't miss a beat at seattletimes.com/subscribe.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. President Trump says he's planning to fly to the Middle East this weekend after Israel approved a deal that paves the way for a ceasefire in Gaza.
It's been really something incredible that nobody thought it was possible to get it done.
President says he plans to fly to both Egypt and Israel for the release of hostages held by Hamas. CBS's Nancy Cordes reports the U.S. military is also playing a role in stabilizing Gaza.
About 200 U.S. service members are going to work out of a new coordination center in Israel, and they'll be there to monitor the ceasefire, make sure it's being implemented properly, and to help facilitate the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza.
9 days into the government shutdown, much of the conversation remains the same. Washington Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says her party's demands are clear.
Cancel the cuts from the big bad betrayal bill.
extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that 22 million Americans don't see their premiums double, and lower healthcare costs for everyone so that people don't die.
Republicans will continue to do the right and responsible thing, and I think at the end of the day, we will prevail because what the Democrats just want to do is madness.
That was Washington Republican Congressman Michael Baumgartner speaking to Seattle Reds' Jason Rantz. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports on a temporary reprieve for Washington's WIC program.
Last week, the state said the WIC program, which helps low-income families with formula, breastfeeding support, and healthy food, was about to run out of money because of the government shutdown. But now the state health department says it has secured funding from the USDA to keep the food benefits program going through the end of October. This program serves more than 200,000 people in Washington. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Washington State Ferries is celebrating a record summer. Officials say delays and cancellations dropped significantly after a $28 million investment from Governor Bob Ferguson.
Last year, we had around 600 sailings that were canceled due to lack of crewing. This summer, we only saw 191 cancellations due to crewing.
That's Jenna Forty with the Washington State Ferries. She tells KIRO 7 TV the system also added 4,000 sailings and saw 500,000 more riders. Takes us to 5:33. Nate Connors is at the real-time traffic desk.
This report brought to you by Global Credit Union. Out in Kitsap County, Gorse, we're still dealing with a long-term collision. It's westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. We've opened up the lane, so 1 out of your 3 lanes remains blocked, and we've got big backups, particularly westbound 16 in a 5+ mile backup heading that direction. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both 1-hour drives. I-5, you're packed from Northgate to Linwood. 405 is heavy from 520 all the way to that Alderwood interchange. Seattle to Everett has improved to 50 minutes. We're thinning out pretty quickly now in South Everett and Linwood, and then it's packed from Northgate to I-90. Bellevue to Renton's a half hour. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, 45 minutes. Pretty clear in the north end. It's once you get to State Route 18, it is thick all the way into Puyallup. And we still have this collision north 5 at Portland Avenue in Tacoma, taking up your right lane. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We're mostly cloudy tonight and staying mainly dry tomorrow. Showers off and on, highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. More rain at times this weekend. Right now, 62 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Wilcox County Farm Mags, spin the wheel very quickly and see what it lands on there. Thank you. That's quick. Thank you, Teeny. Oh, landed on me there. It lands on me. I'm going to take Andrew's recipe yesterday. Take the egg, crack it into your laptop, close the laptop, and check it an hour later, and it'll be ready to go. There's your Wilcox County Farm. There you go. There, right there. Okay. Sarah Nelson, again, for some unknown reason, wants to keep her job there at Seattle City Council. In the 9th, I was looking at your opponent, Miss Foster, and look at all the people there's all the support. Look at all the people. This is everybody that's been there in politics that love spending money. And the reason I like you, Sarah Nelson, I haven't met your opponent. I will extend the invitation for her to come on, although she bailed out of that debate. She doesn't want to talk to you in the debate. Did she give a reason as to why she doesn't want to debate you on the 11th?
She just wants to do direct voter contact, but then she's coming to a forum the next weekend, so who knows?
Did Rachel Savage's opponent drop out of that one too?
I don't know if she had ever said that she would go. I'm talking about my opponent was going to go and then dropped out.
What I always look at, I go to the PDC, and I look to see where the money is coming from. So who's paying for that candidate? And a lot of union money goes into Ms. Foster, right? SEIU. So then a lot of those people benefit from bigger government. A lot of those people want things to stay the way they're constantly keep going. And then I'm looking at yours. You don't have, you got the master builders are on there, some other builders and developers that want to build things. So you just see stay the same, or you possibly get Sarah Nelson in there and you continue to try to hold the city accountable. If we're going to spend $50 million or whatever the number is, what are we getting for that money?
Well, correction, I do have some, the building trade unions support me because, so the iron workers, the electricians, And why? Because our interests are aligned that you need a strong economy so that those projects can happen. And plus, they're tired of their workers getting their stuff stolen at job sites all the time. So,
what's the big difference between you and your opponent, Ms. Foster?
I would say the big difference is that, well, it's hard to know. Let me just caveat this by saying that when we are at forums, she doesn't answer yes or no questions. So, for example, asked at the Horizon House forum, which is older people that vote, the question was, should encampments be allowed in parks? And I said, no, definitely no. They have to be used for their intended use. And then she didn't answer that and talked about, well, what new investments for homelessness, etc. And when you're running against an incumbent, there's even a bigger responsibility to say why your platform is different and better. And I haven't heard much of that. She talks the good line on treatment like I do.
Yes.
But I don't hear what her plan is and how it's different than anything that we're already doing. So it's fluffy. We need to know exactly where you stand, and you have to be able to be honest and know that some people aren't going to like it, but you're hoping that other people will.
So when the big wave came, the wave that took out what would be hard left, you had a socialist, Shama Sawan, on there and some others that were part of that. The people got sick and tired of that, and they said, okay, let's try to move us slightly to the right, not too far in Seattle, but just a little different direction, trying something new. You then found more people that you could work with on that council. So before checks were written, you were asking for, well, show us the data, show us the metric that the money is being well spent. And then there would be crickets on that sort of stuff. How would people respond when you'd say, well, wait, is this money being wasted? Or we'll write the check, but show us that we're getting our money's worth.
What you hear is that, yes, they do the regular evaluation of the contract, but what people don't realize is that the performance metrics that are in those contracts are voluntary, and they're defined by the organization, the nonprofit that is being contracted with. And what more important than just metrics, like how many people were contacted, how many contacts with treatment, we have to have the outcomes that we want. We want fewer people on the street, fewer overdoses in a certain amount of time. We want more people to be getting jobs, and that is a component of our whole response to homelessness. That only a couple nonprofits are really doing well. I'd say Uplift Northwest is one of them. Is that if you take people in and offer shelter or temporary or permanent, they need to be learning some life skills, some job skills, so that they can one day hopefully live independently, and that provides a sense of purpose and dignity. And so I support nonprofits like that. But those that are just filling out the check boxes or whatever, it's hard to know exactly how is that making our city better, and how is that fundamentally helping the people that we're supposedly trying to serve?
Dory Monson, God bless him, he used to sit in this chair and say it's the homeless industrial complex, that there are people that make money off of the problem either staying the same or getting bigger.
Yes, and I can say that I have. That's a politically loaded way of talking about it, but it's true that any organization has a vested interest in things staying the same. And but I think that it's politicians' responsibility to say, well, is it working? Yes, no, then we're doing something different. And that's what I'm always trying to do.
And the thing is that if you get in there and you have enough people that are with you, you can start to make some change. Would Ms. Foster be adding another voice to the old style of the Seattle City Council, which is moving back over, moving more towards more services, not necessarily responding to whether or not you're actually doing anything good with it? Would it be a move back to the left?
I believe that she is more of the model of the old council. And, there's a lot of talk about progressive revenue all the time on the campaign trail. That is not a policy. Progressive revenue, let's just call it taxation, that is a means to get resources to do something. And it's that, well, what are you going to do with that money? And how do you know it's going to work? And that is you shouldn't just have your campaign platform be more money. You should be really focused on the results that money will bring. And so that's what I'm always pushing for. And getting an answer can be difficult.
No, I haven't heard anybody ever say, there are 13,000 people that work for the city of Seattle. We're going to start making some cuts. We're going to start to reduce the size of the revenue and the budget. We are going to hold people accountable. And we're going to stop asking you for money until we can get our house in order.
Right. That and we need to do. I have not seen a major budget scrub that looks at, is this producing the outcomes that we want? Yes, no, okay. If not, then no. Going forward, the mayor of Denver,
yes,
cut the budget. It made a lot of news.
Yes.
I saw his little, LinkedIn video basically saying why they had to do that. I don't know what the reaction was of the people of Denver, but it's kind of rare to see that in bluer cities.
I'll give you a quick example. About 2 months ago in Washington, D.C., the people in 2022 voted for, yes, we want to increase what waiters get paid, waitresses get paid. And about 3 weeks ago, they had an emergency meeting and they decided, the mayor said, we're not going to do that anymore because the restaurant said, if you keep doing this, a third of us are going to be closed by the end of the year, right? We're out of business. We are out of business. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect example of, let's make sure everybody gets paid more money. But then what's the effect of that? The effect of that is the restaurant closes and they don't get paid more money. They get paid no money because they don't have a job anymore. Continuing to ask for increased minimum wages, increased taxes, capital gains tax, B&O tax, all of this stuff just continues to clang in the voter's head of like, you want more and more of our money, but we have nothing to show for it. That's
the key. For more money, people need better services. That's the key. And I think that's the breakdown of trust is when people, this is a very generous town. I mean, people vote for levy after levy,
sure
transportation, libraries, etc. And I think to maintain that trust, we need to show that they're getting a service for what they're paying.
Hopefully there's enough people that actually would like to be able to see that type of respect for their dollar. Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson, thanks for spending some time with us. We appreciate it, last minute notice, and go get them out there and enjoy your debate with no one else on the 11th of October. You'll have the whole stage to yourself.
Grand soliloquy. It'll be fun.
Yes, to be or not to be. All right, here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Home Comfort Alliance has our update. We'll start in Kitsap County. Gorse, westbound 16 at the 166 interchange. A long-term collision blocks one lane. Westbound 16 has a 5-mile backup approaching Mullinex. And then we've got big backups in all other directions heading into Gorse. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both hovering at about 55 minutes to 1 hour. I-5 heavy from Northgate to Linwood. 405 heavy from 520 to Alderwood. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. We're thinning out in South Everett and Linwood, but still really heavy from Northgate into downtown. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, right around a half hour on both 520 and I-90. North 5 at Portland Avenue in Tacoma, a crash still blocks that right lane. And Tacoma to Olympia is down to a 50-minute commute. Tired of uneven home heating and high energy bills? The Quilt ductless heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings. Visit homecomfortalliance.com. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. I know what it's like. You watch your hair begin to thin out, and then the crown disappears. Next thing you know, well, hair loss just robs you of your identity. It's kind of the way I felt about 13 years ago before I visited Advanced Hair. You see, because Advanced Hair has got this simple one-day treatment, just one day. And they regrew my own natural hair. They do the exact same thing for you because if you've noticed, it's starting to thin. And if you noticed, it makes you look old. And again, you feel like, gosh, am I just going to be a bald guy? No, you don't have to live that way. Want to get it fixed? It's bugging you. Get it fixed. You can set up a free consultation, $250 off, 250 free hair grafts. You just give them a call at 425-449-8185. You don't want to be bald anymore. You don't have to be because your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. That's 2 times in a row for them. You want to find out more? First of all, check out the before and after pictures. Absolutely amazing. That could be you. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Naturalists from Puget Sound Express report that their tours have been spending a lot of time near Race Rock's Ecological Preserve near Victoria, BC, watching large groupings of humpback whales. Also in the area is a famous orca known as Nielsen. T49C is a large male who often travels solo. A fun fact, Nielsen was born in 1998 and for years was called Janet after a humpback whale researcher named Janet Nielsen. Once researchers determined that he was male, its name was switched to Nielsen. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of Port Townsend. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks Monday Night Football game on October 20. Head to the KIRO Newsradio app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the KIRO Newsradio app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day, October 7th through October 13th. Details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win. From the station where the 12s hear the Hawks, KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
We are all about your experience.
We are
Subaru
of Puyallup, your
stress-free
dealership.
Treat yourself to a stress-free car buying experience with Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
All right. We got to get the Hudson needs to smaller version of the song. God, that hurts every time I hear that. All right, get letter of the day. First, take care of all the rest. Here we go.
I'm going to read one for Sarah Nelson because she's still here.
All right.
Karina in Seattle says, I met Sarah Nelson last night. I asked her a question she didn't get to answer, but it was about safety. When I said I work with addicts, she had genuine compassion on her face. She seems genuine, and I'm voting for her. Here's the cool thing, though. After sitting in a room with her, I'm not just voting for her because the other person is a bad choice for Seattle. I'm voting for her because I genuinely believe she cares for Seattle, and she wants us to be happy. I so badly want to see that future here. I just have a tiny bit of hope for her and Rachel Savage.
Wow. How about that, Sarah Nelson? You got to make them feel good, right? Off topic, Dennis in Seattle says, where's Aunt Pat? We're really going to experience a heat wave. Yeah, nice.
Hee Haw Aaron says that funny music should be played when breaking news happens. Prove me wrong.
Which the happy music, the funny music, yes. Because once you put funny music under anything, everything is funny what you're reading. Like John's doped up. That's okay. Keep it under. That's fine. 360. I could have lent you some of my fat.
Dan in the 360 says, wow, Curly's a pretty good stoner.
Thank you. Victoria in Tiger Mountain says, I can't wait to hear John outcome on his hip. I just started playing pickleball, and my hips are killing me. I'm 61, and it blows because I'm not giving up pickleball.
I play pickleball sometimes.
All right, Jacob does too.
You're selling all your endorsements today.
Look at that.
And now it is time for
Wow, a lot of letters.
Yeah.
It's teeny, we never got to all these. Here we go.
Trucker Robert in Puyallup says, hey, John, I just don't know what to say about that guy who smuggled the coffee thermos into prison.
Mm-hmm.
The things someone will do for a triple shot Americano with almond milk, 3 sugars, and no whip. I wonder if it was covered by Obamacare.
Good for you, Trucker Robert. Trucker Robert, by the way, came out to the bar and picked up a pumpkin. I felt
really?
sorry because we like, I'm going out to dinner with Nick. He's like, oh, okay.
You got him one?
Yeah.
Good. What did you expect?
To hang around. I was going to hang around with him.
That's all she wrote.
All right.
That's all she wrote.
I made it.
Attaboy.
Man, heavily medicated.
Nice work.
Hoo-ha, hee-ha, hoo-ha. What, you want a phone number? Wait, what phone number for what, huh? Sarah Nelson, we're going to Nate. Will you get out of here? Nothing but trouble. Hang on, here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan?
This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. Out in Kitsap County, Gorst, westbound 16 at the State Route 166 interchange. We've got a crash blocking the right lane. We're a couple hours into this, and that's why westbound 16 is backed up approaching Mullenix Road. That's a 5+ mile bumper-to-bumper backup. Those other backups, including coming out of Port Orchard, are thinning out. Seattle to Everett has improved to 45 minutes. You're backed up from Northgate to Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. It's backed up from Kirkland into Alderwood. It's still really thick through Kirkland. Coming the other way, Everett to Seattle, 55 minutes, 45 from Linwood. We're looking at backups in Linwood and again from Northgate to I-90. North 5, you're going to jam up at Albro Place in the downtown. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. Your backup starts at 520, goes all the way to Northeast 44th, and it's bumper to bumper all the way down to 112th. And both directions of I-5 are heavy between Fife and State Route 18. For over 50 years, Bucky's has provided oil changes, brakes, factory service, and more with expertise and good old-fashioned service. No appointment needed. Friendly financing available. Visit Bucky's.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
That sensation we're all feeling right now?
It's the playoffs, man.
That's playoff fever.
They're good. They're going to win at home, and then we all won.
Yes. They're the talk of the town.
So excited I can hardly stand it.
KIRO News Radio has all the Mariners buzz.
Some of us even ate dirt. Some of us try to sway the outcome.
And our partner Seattle Sports has the games.
A winning solution. Hearing Rick call
You're gonna want to hear
home
Rick.
run. You talk about a no-doubter.
Listen free on the Seattle Sports app.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th. New Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Care Partners Senior Living is growing. Amanda here. We are very excited to introduce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, and North Creek Bothell, bringing compassionate, quality care at an affordable price, closer to more of you. Visit carepartnersliving.com.